blue.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Here, shoot shit.
you guys, do you need a refresher? Or do you
It's
remember?
maybe like a quick 90-second elevator pitch.
So you just left Barovia, and you have Irina with you, and your current goal is to take her to either the Village of Villaki or the Village of Krezek.
Krezek is so far away.
And I think your plan was to head to Villaki.
Yeah.
Because it's even on the way. So, yeah. Yeah, her brother suggested Villaki. It was the priest who suggested Krezek. Because there is an abbey there.
Right. But that might not be part of our plan, or that might not aid our plan to dethrone God. So, I think Villaki is probably the better approach for us, but that is still quite a long distance.
We can always get there, check it out, and say, "Yeah, let's keep going." Plus,
we've got to pass like a wall here. It looks like
she's a fully realized creation. She
that's
has autonomy.
Gate.
She can decide if she wants to stay.
It's a gate bringer, just like the gate that you guys came in originally.
Okay. And then that right there is the castle with probably, we don't want to go there.
That's the Castle of Ravenloft.
Yeah, I don't want to go there.
Yeah,
okay.
So they pointed all that out on the map, and this is the map that you have. So you guys just gonna continue heading down the road?
Yeah, I say we take the longer path around and we skip this little settlement here, if we can.
Okay.
Just trying to keep a little bit more of a low profile.
Okay.
But, what do you guys think?
Well, I'll move you to the crossroad. Let's start, because you're definitely going to here first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're moving down the road.
Okay, because at the crossroad something happens.
Link things.
So an old wooden gallows creaks in the chill wind that blows down from the high ground to the west. Wait, I might actually have a thing for this. Hold on. Oh, I do. Sure, this on and that off. All right. Do you see this?
Yep.
All right.
Ooh.
There you go. Okay. A frayed length of rope dances from its beam. The well-worn road splits here, and a signpost opposite the gallows points off in 3 directions. Barovia Village to the east, Seer Pool to the northwest, and Ravenloft Villaki to the southwest. The northwest fork slants down and disappears into the trees, while the southwest fork clings to an upward slope. Across from the gallows, a low wall crumbling in places partially encloses a small plot of graves shrouded in fog.
I think we should probably just take the path straight to Villaki and not get detoured by this other little village here. I feel like that's liable to cause us more problems than simply taking a little bit more time on the road.
Let's be direct about it.
Yeah.
I have a plan.
Leave instead of unmute. Was there actually another village, or was it back to Barovia was the village, the Seer Pool, and then Ravenloft Villaki, right?
Correct, yeah.
So there's a pool we could check out.
Don't forget you have Irina if you want to ask her about things.
We have pulled that.
Yeah, Irina. So you've probably traveled to Villaki a few times in the past. Which path would you recommend we take here?
If you want to go straight to Villaki, the southwest path, the path to the north, to the Seer Pool, there is a Vistani encampment there.
Who are the Vistani?
Vistani. They're just a local group that kind of a group of nomadic people that travel around. I'm sure you've met
sell
some.
pies?
No. The pies are sold by an old crone. I don't believe she's Vistani. We could go there if you want. They're friendly enough.
What do you
Do
guys
we
think?
need supplies, and would they have them? Question.
What supplies are you looking for?
We have everything we need.
Yeah, that was more of an out of character question. Does anybody
Oh.
need to go shopping?
Well, you need a cloak still, right?
No, didn't
If
get them
if
one?
people are getting weirded out by it, but not really. I think we could
Good.
travel on to Villaki.
Besides, they'll have shops there if we need to restock.
Yeah,
Just go.
and we'll see if the nomads can
Yeah,
be of
I
assistance
think
later. Maybe.
I think Starch would prefer to stay in the woods for now. So let's take the southern path, the southwestern path.
Okay. Can you also give me a perception check, Buck?
Yeah.
All right. You don't notice anything. Okay, so you guys are continuing this route.
I might need a mouse pad for this mouse.
Okay. So as you leave the area, you hear a creaking noise behind you, coming from the gallows. Where there was nothing before, now hangs a lifeless gray body. The breeze turns the hanged figure slowly so that it can fix its dead eyes upon you.
Rude. Does it look familiar?
Ivy sees herself. Everybody else sees something that it is not familiar to them.
Spooky.
So that's what I look like. This terrible mirror, and I need more sleep. I've been
Hey,
haunted
did
by
anyone-
ship. I've been haunted by ship before. Let's keep going.
Did anybody notice that dead guy that just showed up?
It
No,
looked
I
like
see-
Hang on. I'm double checking a spell. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh,
I see through minor illusions. Do I see anything different?
Nope.
Darn.
not an illusion, just a dead guy. Dead something.
Also, you don't just see through minor illusion. You see through illusion. Period.
Ooh.
Okay, never mind. I did not memorize that this round.
Okay.
I was gonna ask the bird some shit. Because there was a bird in the picture. God damn it.
All right, so you guys are just going to continue down the path. You guys can move this token, though.
Yeah, I think I would probably give it a second look, but rather than trying to investigate the graveyard and the newly inhabited gallows, I think I'd prefer to just leave and not be.
I've
cursed.
accepted that I will likely die in this strange and terrible place, so it doesn't necessarily bother me terribly.
We go around investigating every jump scare. We're gonna be here forever. They were all
Dr. Toilet,
various cats.
glad to see you're well enough.
How long is this? Because I need to
So
manipulate
far,
the
so
time based on how far you guys are going. Ah, stop.
All right. I was trying to speak to her further.
You did prep some montage music, right?
Gonna have a montage. I just need a general idea of how long it's gonna take you to get places.
Quite a while. That's a hike.
Wait, was that the
Yeah,
18th theme?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, that's a pretty good montage.
And now it's going to be stuck in your head for a long time.
That's
So,
not-
I was
both
trying
my
to
life.
remember. It's like I know this song. No, my alarm, one of the Apple default alarms sounds like a bit of the bridge from Mr. Roboto. So whenever I'm thinking about,
Nice.
like, my alarm goes off, and it's kind of in my head, and then I'm thinking about like D&D or something that sparks it. I'm like, all right, now Mr. Roboto's in my head.
I changed my Slack notification at work to just somebody saying the word hummus. So every time it's like hummus, hummus, hummus.
From one of those
Totally-
pronunciation
Totally worth
sites.
it.
Or just your favorite clip of someone saying hummus.
No, it's an option in Slack. It's just, I don't know who says
Default.
hummus, but it's just it's one of the default notification. Like instead of the ding or whatever, you can just be like hummus.
Oh, you got rid of the
Hummus.
horrible little pop noise.
Yeah,
I hate it.
As you
I was just fucking around with it one day, and I'm like, whoa, hummus. Deal.
as you come out of the trees, you see a figure walking alone, kind of out in this general area, with the stride and bearing of one who knows no fear. Clad in rusty armor, it clutches a gleaming longsword in its pale hand and looks ready for a fight. Everybody give me an insight check.
Is he moving towards us?
He's just moving through the field, basically.
Oh man, I'm feeling hot today.
It's not bode well.
I don't have my character loaded when I hit C. Interesting.
Mine shows me
Yeah.
travel.
Oh,
Yeah.
because of this. Yeah, you might have to actually open up your character yourself.
Or roll a die.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let me
I don't know
go
what my
over
insight is.
to D&D Beyond.
It is hard for me because this fucking.
I mean, I can roll
Mouse
for you
keeps
guys if you
disconnecting.
want. I have all your things.
Yeah, could you roll for me, actually? I'm using the Steam link, and it keeps
22.
unrecognizing the mouse. The mouse is not, coherent all the time.
What is it? A black mouse?
It's a 22.
With a 22 and also DT. So Buck doesn't see this, but the two of you see that you can see that it has sunken eyes and it's not in a great mood. Like just from its stance, you can tell that.
So, you're using it. Is that what we notice? Where it's like, hey, that's not a guy, that's a thing.
It's
like-
clearly not alive.
Okay. Is it like armor with a skeleton in it?
It's
Just a
It's
guy,
not a
dead guy.
zombie, but it's clearly not alive, but it's not skeleton.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm searching through my packs to see if I can find some polish to maybe try and sell the thing.
With a roll of 10, do I notice anything different?
No, you notice the same. Buck's the only one who didn't notice it's just kind of walking. It's not coming at you, but it's definitely not in a good mood. What do you do?
I kind of part of my bag with a little bit of polish, and I kind of elbow DT. I'm like, "Do you want to play the polished up armor? And we'll try and sell this to this guy."
Buck, I don't think that's a guy. Look again. I think it's
not-
one of Barovia's many monsters. Whatever
It
overall land.
reacts to you talking. Like it clearly looks at you talking, but continues its walk.
Oh.
It's heading like this way.
I sort of slide the polish back in my pouch and go, "Oh, yes, thank you, DT."
We probably shouldn't get close.
None of us need a
Good.
long sword anyway. Let's
Kind of a
leave it
shiny
be.
sword. You don't know what I need.
You couldn't lift it.
I'd say
I
we
can
move
do
along,
things to it.
keep an eye on him if we can. If he's moving in a way that we can keep an eye on him. He's heading up toward the falls,
He's heading up towards the way you're going,
Or-
basically.
but he'll intercept the road.
Yeah.
Why don't
Well.
we walk along beside him and see what he does?
Why don't
Right,
we
that-
just walk quietly behind it and let it go where it's going to?
That's right. Walk softly and carry a big stick. Support that.
Very quietly. I'm gonna throw another round of my good friend Pass Without a Trace on everybody who is willing.
Well, he knows we're here.
Yeah.
I guess whatever comes
Yeah,
next. we
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
waste the spell slot because he
Okay.
does know you're there. It's not your any stealth check is not going to work.
What do you think for a good distance here? Like 60 feet, maybe?
Let's just walk.
Okay.
We let him go up, about still within sight, but yeah, probably 20, 30 yards.
Okay, so
I'm sorry,
then
meters.
I would say so about here.
I can convert, no problem.
He
Only
reaches
yards to
the
meters.
he reaches the bridge and turns around and starts walking back towards you.
Oh. Well,
You know
then.
what?
Yeah, almost as if he's on like a patrolling the road.
Mm-hmm.
Should we just step off the road and wave him on by?
Let's see what that does. If he's an automaton, then maybe he'll leave us alone.
As an
Um,
automaton, I concur.
He-
That's
he-
true. I wouldn't fuck with anyone who wasn't fucking with me.
He walks.
Maybe
bu-
he'll give us a PowerPoint presentation.
he as he walks by, he kind of just nods at you and continues on his way.
Okay, then. Well,
Or
Another
do you
part of the
talk to
local
him?
color.
Do you continue on?
I'll nod back at him in a solemn manner.
constable.
I'm gonna do a awkward chin jerk.
I don't
You-
know, because I
the
am
sup
curious.
ginger.
Me, the player, am curious, but our characters have just been through a whole bunch of shit and are probably just like, let's keep our heads down and get the fuck to a town or something.
DT, give me a religion check.
Oh no.
What do you mean? No,
That's
no,
throwing.
you're a cleric.
No, I was just in the other room throwing trash.
Oh, okay. I was like, you better have a decent religion, or I would assume you do.
I don't know. I don't fucking travel book. Let me pull up my D&D Beyond characters so I have that handy. This shit's gonna be finicky. Oh, I almost made it before the mouse gave up.
I can roll for you.
Yeah,
All right.
one more, and then I hopefully can get this thing going. Just knowing what they are, I could roll the dice in Foundry. Not great.
No, not great. Although I'm gonna have you roll with advantage.
I get a +1 on religion.
Do you? Because it
Surely
shows
that's
it
enough.
shows -1 in here.
Is that a -1? No, I should get a +1 for intelligence. Yeah, my
All right.
intelligence. Wait,
Something-
no, my intelligence is a -1.
Yeah.
But +1, okay, because of background and being a cleric.
Yeah, so that didn't come over right. But regardless, you rolled a. You got a +1. So yeah, you got your +1. But
Hooray!
so you rolled a 16. So you know what this is. It's a revenant.
Ooh.
It forms from the soul of a mortal who met a cruel and undeserving fate. It claws its way back into the world to seek revenge against the one who wronged it. It superficially resembles a zombie, however, instead of lifeless eyes, a revenant's eyes burn with resolve and flare in the presence of its adversary.
Yo, dog, who killed you? Just curious.
He
be an
turns.
ally.
No, you said that, and he turns
I
around.
didn't say yo, dog.
No, it's canon. It's
Excuse
canon.
me, sir, but who killed you? You're a revenant, if I'm not mistaken.
And he looks at you and he says, Strahd.
Ah. My apologies. It seems like he's not very well liked around here. Sure, you're not the only one he's killed.
No, many have died at his hand.
What did he do to you that was so terrible that you came back? I kind of like pushed my way forward, like some like bright eyes, like, why? How? What was so terrible that killed you that you actually had to come back from the dead?
I kind of hold out a hand to just be like, let's not like, he's not our pal. Just be a little cautious.
He looks at you and says, "Are you enemies of Strahd?"
Oh yeah,
Sure.
I was a knight of the Order of the Silver Dragon. We were defending the valley against Strahd's armies long ago.
how long have you walked this place?
More than 4 centuries.
Wow. That must have been some battle.
He tells you, hold on.
I saw lots of guys die in battle, and hardly any of them came back.
Oh my god, this word. You should, if you seek to stop Strahd, you should travel to Argenvostholt.
Oh,
Bless you.
Convince our leader to help you.
How?
Oh,
you're
old
here
youth.
for 400 years and nobody's killed Strahd this whole time. Like nobody. How many people have tried? Why haven't your leaders done so?
Not all
Who is
of
you?
us came back.
Who is
Yeah,
your
that's-
leader?
I was gonna say.
His name is Vladimir Horngard.
Did your whole battalion come back after the war just to fight Strahd?
Only some of us are still around.
How many?
I do not know.
Well, that's a noble cause if ever I heard one.
How will they know that we are coming from you? If
We go to Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan. Here's how it's spelled, all right? Argynvostholt.
Argenvostholt.
Argenvostholt.
You must put on a German accent and go to Argenvostholt.
Argenvost.
It's Argenvostholt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Argenvostholt. I'm a revenant.
You're the Bürgermeister.
Do you know my friend, the Burgomaster?
Argenvostholt.
Don't make me run, I'm full of candy.
It hands you a seal that's rusted and corroded, but you can still make it out.
Oh, a business card.
Start's gonna look for this place that he's talking about on the map. I don't see it IRLs. Is that accurate?
Argenvostholt is not on the
Yeah.
map.
I was looking for that too.
Perhaps the Argenvostholt was inside us all along.
It is not labeled on the map.
The Argenvostholt was the friends that we found along the way.
I'm going to hold the map out
I-
to him and point and say where.
It points here.
Oh. Down
Just past Villaki.
Right here.
south down the Luna River. I'll get you there, it looks like.
Right here. I'm just gonna keep pinging over and over again.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's right here. Hey guys, it's right here. I can add a label to it.
Hey.
I seen it.
The Zundate village.
I'll ask the Revenant if he's tried to kill Strahd, and if so, how.
He replies, I am unable to attack unless my leader commands it.
No.
No
That's-
offense, but what has he been waiting for?
I do not
400
know.
years. Well, maybe
can
we
I
will
not-
ask him if we see him.
Move this fucking. Oh my god. Nope.
New text.
New text.
Down at the River Delta. That's where you'll find new text. The hottest new restaurant.
New Text Village.
There you go.
Barovia.
Okay.
It sounds like a shitty
Heading on
pop-up
down to New Text Village.
Let's not pronounce that.
Oh.
This seems far. This seems where she kind of draws a line between the two. Why are you here and not there?
This is where I fell.
Are you stuck?
I am limited in how far I can travel.
Hmm.
What limits you?
I know not.
Space magic. Probably, if I had to guess, the dark magics that brought him back here. Those things always have weird rules.
Is your body still here? Because we could probably dig that up, and then DT could carry it, and then you could come with us.
He looks
Oh,
down at the
is
thing
that
that he
you?
is. He looks
Yeah.
down at the thing that he is and then looks back up at you. And that's it. Nothing else. He doesn't say anything. And then he just continues. He starts walking away.
Do you want some pie?
Do you have a name?
He just continues walking.
Actually,
you know that revenants in general don't usually remember their name.
oh, okay.
Apparently want pie.
Well, that's why the seal will help us, I guess.
Don't have pie. You don't have pie anymore. You have a bag of garbage.
Garbage pie.
Meaty. It was a meat pie, right? A mince.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've got a bag of
It was
mince that
just
will
savory.
apparently make you forget your problems.
I mean, at least we have the residue if we ever need to forget our problems.
Just rub some on your gums.
you got some real problems
If
dipping into that
If we
bag of
leave it
pie.
long enough, 'twill become a powder which we can snort. Dry the pie.
I'm inventing new drugs. It's my plan.
So I assume
Knowing
you're
you,
going
you'll
to
make strange-
continue up the road.
Yeah, but now we've got another data point for further exploration.
Another slide on the PowerPoint of our journey.
As you come to the actually I have a thing for this too. But as you come to the bridge, you see a path to the right, which looking at your map you can tell goes back to the Serpool area. Irina suggests that you might want to go there, but is perfectly happy to continue on to Villaki.
Oh, did she want to stop at the Sarah Pool and see the
Do we need to drop some
Romani
kids
of
off?
this plane?
I
whatever
did
they were
not say
called?
that in character.
It's the closest
We
thing
can-
to
we can go to
indoor
the
plumbing for
Serpool.
hundreds of miles.
To be honest, I don't think we're going to get to Villaki in one night. And it doesn't seem like a long day's travel to get to the Serpool from
Yeah,
Barovia.
what time is
but
it?
We could probably make Serpool to almost Villaki in a long day tomorrow. So maybe we do want to go to the Serpool
Yeah,
village.
I would say you're going to get to the gate up here and it's going to be night, or you could probably go to here and spend the night.
Let's go
Yeah.
spend the night in the Serpool.
Somewhere where we
Um,
know someone is at least, quote, friendly enough.
Yeah, rather than
Also-
spending a night on the road that we don't have to.
Okay.
In Barovia. Like,
If it's
not
called
good
a
at the
pool,
best
we
of
can
times.
probably bathe in it.
Okay. So you head here. I have to bring up some stuff.
We probably all stink right now. That is true.
Let me know if my
You're a robot.
eating,
You don't
eating and
sweat.
crunching is too loud.
Yeah, but I'm covered in gore. Right? Didn't we do
The
some
road
fights?
gradually disappears and is... Oh, you can't see.
No
God
token,
damn it.
no
Hold on.
gradually and then totally disappears. And now it's pitch black.
Yeah, but there's
Like
good
you get
music.
eaten by a
There you go. The road gradually disappears and is replaced by a twisted, muddy path through the trees. Deep ruts in the earth are evidence of the comings and goings of wagons. A canopy of mist, branches suddenly gives way to black clouds boiling far above. There's a clearing here next to a river that widens to form a small lake several hundred feet across. 5 colorful round tents, each 10 feet in diameter, are pitched outside a ring of 4 barrel-topped wagons. A much larger tent stands near the shore of the lake, its sagging form lit from within. Near this tent, 8 unbridled horses drink from the river. The mournful strains of an accordion clash with the singing of several brightly clad figures around a bonfire. A footpath continues beyond this encampment, meandering north between the river and the forest edge. Also south.
Holy
It's the path that you already saw.
Yeah, I saw the fire moving. I did not realize the little people next to it were moving until I lost my shit when I saw them, like, just sort of doing whatever they're doing.
They're doing one of them
Whoa.
Fortnite dances.
Yeah, they're down there
Moving around and doing
flossing,
some stuff.
doing the
Is that the
backpack.
hokey pokey?
They're putting
Is that
it
a-
in and taking it back
And they're
out.
taking it out. Wow. Trained dancers. What a novelty.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
You see there are 12 Vistani standing around, sitting around the fire, telling stories and drinking. From even here, you can tell that they are intoxicated.
This is my time to shine.
I don't think we should sneak up on them. Let's let them know we're here before we just pop up. That's generally a bad thing for drinking.
Should we go in singing a montage song so they know we're friendly?
Yes.
You come up with a song. Do it now.
It's gonna be a montage.
It's gonna be a montage.
The Vistani looks up as you walk, and one of them tosses a wine bottle to you.
Yes! Triumph!
And beckons you to join them by the fire.
Hail
Starts
well
his-
met, my dudes.
Very quick about this and is very much like, okay, just down people. Good.
Gets the idea of
Yeah.
community pretty quick. So yeah, we
I am
enter
drinking
the
that
circle
wine.
of firelight. Yeah,
Yeah.
wave to everybody, sort of awkwardly.
Like join, and one of the Vistani says, "Join us for a drink, friends."
Oh,
Gladly. What a wonderful campfire you've got this evening.
And such delicious wine. Thank you for sharing.
Irina
I
leans
pulled a
against
bottle
one
of
of the.
wine away from Ivy before she could just down the whole thing before anybody else gets a chance.
You suck.
I take a quick swig from it myself and pass it to start.
Buck's totally the guy who's got those like collapsible camping cups, right? He just like clicks out a bunch of, pours out some wine for everybody.
Yeah, just all of a sudden, like 4 cups pop out. Wine for the party.
I'm going to stare at you with narrowed eyes for stealing my wine. Wine stealer.
I make sure one of the 4 cups is like sort of filled to the brim, while the others are at a a respectable level. And
Very
sort of
well.
carefully hand her the brim-filled one.
Well, yeah, because I don't need one.
The
Wave it away.
another
Think
one
I
of
can?
the Vistani looks at you and says, "As payment for the wine, tell a story."
Well, perhaps you would like to know
Audio
how I got
visual.
my name.
Audio visual presentation.
Yeah, I would actually give that, but like do it the sort of C-3PO giving the speech to the Ewoks, like a little bit like
Ram Shabbat.
Yeah. but like back where we come from, crashing thunder, like little sound effects. But yeah, explaining the concept of the Warforged and how we got to be here very briefly. So it's like, here's why I'm called Dr. Toilet, and then we fell through a dimension hole, and now we're here.
Good summary, DT.
Yeah. I don't want to actually recount everything we did, but a basic level of like, yeah, and then there was a haunted house, and then we ran, and then this happened, and it's like, it's probably complete gibberish to an outsider, but at least the name AV presentation would still track, I hope.
I just give a big thumbs up as he finishes his speech.
The gathered group around the fire claps for the story, and they each are taking swigs of their wine. One of them stands up to tell his own story, and the story goes, "A mighty wizard came to this land over a year ago. I remember him like it was yesterday. He stood exactly where you're standing, a very charismatic man he was. He thought he could rally the people of Barovia against the devil Strahd. He stirred them with thoughts of revolt and bore them to the castle in mass. When the vampire appeared, the wizard's peasant army fled in terror. A few stood their ground and were never seen again. The wizard and the vampire cast spells at each other. Their battle flew from the courtyards of Ravenloft to a precipice overlooking the falls. I saw the battle with my own eyes. Thunder shook the mountainside, and great rocks tumbled down upon the wizard. Yet by his magic he survived. Lightning from the heavens struck the wizard, and again he stood his ground. But when the devil Strahd fell upon him, the wizard's magic couldn't save him. I saw him thrown 1,000 feet to his death. I climbed down to the river to search for the wizard's body to see if, he had anything of value. But the river Ivlis had already spirited him away."
Muted.
Well, it doesn't sound like the peasants around here are very trustworthy.
No, they're not.
Was that the last time anyone tried to stand up to Strahd?
The last time I know of.
How long have you been here?
Oh god, I don't remember how long ago that was. Hold on, I don't want to tell you the wrong thing.
Many a move.
Points emphatically at Buck's question, like, yes, I need this answer.
Hold on, I have to dig for this. Give me a second.
Drinking that wine and
I feel like
Talk
people
amongst
get-
yourselves around the fire.
Yeah, I feel like people get stuck
He
here for
just
longer
puts
than
his
I like
finger
to
up and
admit.
pulls out his phone and starts scrolling through.
Flipping back through his diary.
Looking for the
Right.
picture of the lease that he signed.
He's been here so long that he's got to pull up some documents. It's all blurred together. I understand.
filed
Dear
away.
diary, today we moved to the Sayre pool. Ah, here it is.
So I'm kind of worried that people get pulled into this place and their only recourse is to spend eternity here or die fighting Strahd. And I didn't have either one of those things on my bucket list.
I mean,
On your buckle list.
through a combination
I
of
didn't want to
magic,
say it, but yes.
I could hang out for a while. Through a combination of magic and my own ignorance, for all I know, I'm immortal.
Well,
The power of ignorance.
I could die tomorrow.
Okay, so he says he's been here for probably about 10 years, and this happened a little over a year ago.
okay, so there's pretty regular adversaries against Strahd. I wonder why they don't wait for the next group of like-minded adventurers to team up with them, rather than trying to rouse fucking peasants.
A voice in your head reminds you of the massive amount of adventurer ghosts that you saw back in Barovia.
The parade. Do they know about that?
Right.
Or the like
I mean, there were a lot of them.
Yes,
Davey
everybody,
Havoc.
literally
Everybody
everyone
knows.
knows about that. I was just trying to remind you. That was not like
Yeah.
a in-story voice. That was the DM's voice.
No, I remember.
Baby
Yeah,
Havoc
that's
pops
it.
up and starts singing Black Parade.
That's a good reminder. So they've tried Army of Adventurers. They've tried a couple of canny adventurers and an army of peasants. Apparently, there was an actual army that tried because we just
An
met
army
a
of
revenant on the
armies.
road. Yeah. What's it gonna take to kill this guy?
Well, so he's really infatuated with, and I kind of like drop my voice, just like and I don't know if that's been a thing in the past. Do you know if he's had crushes on ladies before?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, he has.
Damn it.
Why
Like
don't
a lot of them, just one in particular. Is it
th-
blonde?
Throughout the years, there have been many stories of him being infatuated with someone.
Does it usually end well for them?
It never ends well.
so he is lonely?
I hoped maybe this time would be the time, but I probably
I don't
didn't.
think there are a lot of happy endings in Barovia. How do you guys stay so cheerful? What's your story? How do you manage to avoid all of the strife? Why doesn't Strahd attack you and yours?
Don't hold on.
Perhaps it's just because,
He's like, I don't
as
know.
my old mentor would
Chug,
say,
chug,
they don't
chug.
fuck with any of that. Just stay here by the river.
Drink
and
wine. Be
Yeah.
happy. Avoid
Yeah.
death.
Where do you get wine, though?
You make it,
Who's-
DT. It's a
who's running-
process.
I'm
have
just
a
wondering, who's running the
Oh.
Barovia winery? The vineyard.
Mm.
Can I make beer inside DT like Bender?
Yes.
I'm not hermetically sealed. I don't think. I'm just
The Vistani
venting pressure of it.
the Vistani says, we are generally left alone. Don't know why.
I DT up and down and start fiddling with a couple of things inside my brewer's kit.
Stop trying to make beer in me. Okay. Oh god, I had a question about Strahd. I forgot now. Oh, well, okay. Actually, an out of game question for Bean Troll is: I don't know in D&D in general, or especially 5e, how common vampires are. Like, is he the vampire? Like, or are there vampires that plague the Faerun countryside?
Like, we're inside a pocket dimension here that he obviously has a lot of control over. But would there be vampires that we would have heard tales of?
Yeah, Ivy has hunted vampires.
That's what I wasn't sure of. If they were just a monster,
They're not like
encounter.
they're not as omnipresent
He's not
as
the
they
only
are
one,
here.
but he is apparently a powerful and vicious one.
Yeah, he's the
we
Dracula of all this.
We would do well to be wary of him
Damn Dracula.
and his followers, which I
But
assume he has.
the
somewhere.
idea of, yeah, I just wanted to know if we would be like, okay, so he is a very powerful vampire. We know what vampires are, and he's a super big one. As opposed to like, what is this creature, and why is he so powerful, kind of thing.
No, I've fought them before.
So I take
know
it
their
that
ways.
it seems like the usual ways of killing him would have done it already with the army of guys. So I assume
Not
he's very,
necessarily.
very
It depends. We don't know what they know, and we don't know what they've tried.
True. And these guys
I mean,
probably
if
aren't
he's-
necessarily Strahd experts. I'm just asking.
If
them. It's
he's
the only
blasting
friendly
him-
people we've met.
Yeah. Not a lot's come from the attacks on Strahd, at least.
Mm-hmm. And we don't know what they've tried. We've seen warriors, a captive vampire,
A mage.
There's that wizard.
Do
Yeah,
you,
wizard
wizard.
throwing spells at him didn't work.
do you
Maybe
know
no
the
one
sad
tried
man?
silver stakes.
I tried to make him fart, and that didn't work.
Oh, I might be muted.
I'm shaking my head behind my mic.
I'm gonna ask the Vistani guy. Do you know the sad man at the crossroads?
No, I do not.
Hmm.
How often
We
do you
met-
guys leave this camp?
Oh, we travel a lot.
Have you been to Barovia lately?
Not lately. It's a sad place. We try and avoid it.
Have you been up north to Villaki or even all the way to Krezk?
We travel all over, but the Valakians don't like our kind.
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that.
You seem nice. Why would they not like you?
They're racist.
Oh god, you gotta fight racists.
Oh, this
Well-
is something I've encountered.
How disappointing.
I look at Isabel and be like, just give her
Who?
a look.
No,
What's her fucking name?
Irina.
Irina.
Yeah. Thanks, Isabella. I look at her and just kind of give her like a what the hell? I'm like look and shrug.
She looks back and she shrugs as well. I didn't know.
well, we'll just have to give them a piece of our mind when we get there.
You take the roads frequently. Are there better roads? Are there?
There's only the old Savalich road.
Are there any hazards that we should be aware of?
I would stick to the road. Off the road, there's wild druids, wayward ghosts, wolves, and werewolves.
Thank you for the advice.
Druids, am I right?
Also, avoid the old windmill.
Oh, I think we own that place. I pull out the weird sheep.
Vistani arches an eyebrow.
There was something in our documents.
Yeah,
about
no,
that.
you do.
Yeah.
You 100% do have the deed to a windmill, yes.
Why should we
And,
avoid the old windmill?
He doesn't say anymore. He just repeats, it should be avoided at all costs.
Hmm.
We'll do that. Do people have more questions, or should we ask if we can stay
Can
for
you?
the night? Mainly.
Does Strahd have any followers, compatriots other associates we should know about?
None that I specifically know about, but you would have to assume that he does.
Well, we knew you were cool because Irina said so, but is there anyone we shouldn't talk to Strahd about, or talk about Strahd to, or is that everyone? Like, just kind of don't mention him?
Most people are afraid of him.
Okay. It seems like we might need allies in the near future.
He points to the larger tent.
Oh.
Who's in the tent?
If you knew anyone else. I assumed we could count you as our allies.
He just kind of tries to get your attention. He's like,
yeah.
You should speak to Madame Eva.
Yeah. Go talk to the boss.
Sure, of course. Well, thanks for the wine, and I take a little sip off my cup and start sauntering towards the large tent.
Okay.
Leave him to his flossing. I will bring up the rear.
Yeah. I was going to ask him, like, is there any protocol to be observed when we meet the madam?
I'm sure she'll expect you.
Okay.
I'm
the religion scholar type, so I'm like, don't offend.
Right. So magic flames cast a reddish glow over the interior of this tent, revealing a low table covered in a black velvet cloth. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball on the table as a hunched figure peers into its depths. As the crone speaks, her voice crackles like dry weeds, if I can possibly do this voice. At last you have arrived. Buckle. Ivy Winters starts the fire. HCKC F991 MS98. Doctor, come over here and let me see you. Never seen a Warforged before.
I'm sort of stunned and walk over there. How did you do that? Super impressed.
She eyes you up and down and kind of pokes like various bits of your armor. And she says, "Mighty fine work. Mighty fine indeed. Nothing like you around these parts. I imagine your kind were incredibly useful in the war."
This is intensely uncomfortable. This is not good. Starts is very much kind of like, oh, how do I make myself small?
She actually turns to the rest of the group and addresses Starts and says, "Starts the fire. It must be uncomfortable to be in this strange place away from what remains of your home. Ivy,
just a face.
You're not alone in this land. And Buck, why did you try and take that sword, you silly boy?"
It was so shiny.
And
Adam?
Then she says, "Now, DT, go around to the other side of the table. Would you adventurers like your fortunes read?"
I'm like, just like a kid at Chuck E. Cheese. I'm just like, oh, yes, please. This is fascinating.
Okay.
Guys, she knew my real name. I didn't even know that anymore. Or I probably had it in my memory bank somewhere.
Okay. I need to
I don't have a memory bank.
See how to share this screen. Hold on 1 second.
I'm getting tripped out by noticing the little guys by the fire every time.
Flossing.
I think it's because I had a very specific
Gangnam Style.
It's a clear slow motion nay. No, I had
clear slow motion nay.
Okay, can you guys see what I'm showing you? Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the
On the phone.
on the thing.
Yep.
Okay.
So Eva.
I still see the tent.
Oh no, this will be on Discord.
Oh,
Yeah. He is now.
my bad.
shared
I'm
his screen.
multitasking.
Wait, how do I get back there? Because
I tapped here. You can see it on mine.
Join stream.
I see it too, but I see everybody.
Oh,
so I don't
dope.
know how to make just main trolls the main screen. Main screen, turn on. There it goes.
So
Apparently, that was the incantation.
so Eva produces a worn deck of cards and begins drawing. She draws the first card. This card tells of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy. Look for a wizard's tower on a lake. Let the wizard's name and servant guide you to that which you seek. Then she turns over the next card. This card tells of a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope. The treasure you seek is hidden behind the sun in the house of a saint. She draws the third card. This card is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight. The treasure lies in a dragon's house, in hands once clean and now corrupted. She draws the fourth card. This card sheds light on one who will help you. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the wrong card. Fuck. It's supposed to be this one. This card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. Your greatest ally will be a wizard. His mind is broken, but his spells are strong. Then she turns the last card. Your enemy is a creature of darkness whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him. He dwells with the one whose blood sealed his doom. A brother of light snuffed out too soon.
That's really cool. In out of character, that's very cool use of the technology.
Yeah, great.
In character, I'm sort of just staring at the cards.
So
And
wizard factors.
And the broken mind, that's not one of us already?
I've seen
she
cards read
laughs and says
before.
no.
Normally they aren't so deliberate. What else do you have to tell us?
Would you like your personal fortunes read?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I stand up and stand aside. I'm
Show us
puzzling
what
that
you
one
got.
over.
Show us what you've got.
God.
Buck definitely kind of perks up at like, oh, fortune's red, sure. Like, I wonder if an explosion can change these, or if I'll know an explosion is coming.
Okay, so she starts with Ivy, and she says, "Ivy, you are not the you are not the only one here of your kind in this land."
What's that supposed to mean? Of course I'm not the only human. This old woman makes no sense.
She turns another card and for starts and says, "You will find one who makes what you desire."
The face kind of fades a little bit, kind of an O, but then the face comes back very quickly.
Just like, fire? As far as I can tell, one of the only things she really likes is fire. She makes that pretty well by herself.
She turns the card over and says, "DT, you may wish to learn everything, but some things in this land are best left unknown." And Buck,
Well, we'll see about that. We'll agree to disagree.
you and DT are not the only people here from your realm.
Oh, much more cut and dry on that.
Mhm.
Wow.
I
Home?
I saw a few people from home the other night. It was a weird dream. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
You mean
That's
all
that's
the
a
way
neat
back
trick.
home? Not just out of Barovia.
That's a
There's
trick.
there's kind of an oh yeah that kind of crosses Start's face and just kind of like a step, just kind of make sure somebody's in between her and Buck.
Was not don't trust him because he's from another dimension.
No.
Dimension races.
Janice.
No, something else.
We're all here for various reasons. Starts keeps her secrets pretty close to the vest. Okay.
And Buck's casually killed lots.
Where to go next? Yeah. Do you... I don't know if you have any ability to follow up on these, but do you think these people are aligned with us? Those the ones who came from home?
She says, I've revealed all that the cards reveal.
They don't.
That's always how.
Does that say whether they're dead or not?
It is unclear.
In this place, I feel like dead and alive are pretty unclear concepts.
Starts kind of shakes her head, kind of dismissing what everybody's talking about. Will you be here?
You're asking who?
The crone.
If she'll be here?
Yes. That's what she's saying, but that's not what she means.
Aaron's taken on the challenge of role-playing a fearful teenager, basically.
Yes.
Who is... But, like...
She's basically
to
sits
help
there
out,
making
give us the
faces.
out-of-game.
Yeah, so she's
meta
basically
a little
asking if the group is going to stay here or if there is an intent to travel soon.
We don't have any reason to leave right now, but we travel all the time.
Okay. She makes a face and goes outside.
I don't know if you saw this in your crystal ball, but she's very big on the idea of community and, I guess, permanence?
Well, DT
We're still
is
figuring her out.
While DT is talking to her, I'm gonna try to sidle closer to the crystal ball and like peer into it myself.
Well, she was turning over cards to tell your fortune. She has a crystal ball, but that's not what she used.
Can I sidle over to the crystal ball and try and peer into it anyways?
Absolutely.
It looks really fucking shiny.
I'm gonna ask her what she meant by more of my people. What do you mean there are more of my people here?
Not more of your people. You just are not the only one.
What do you mean by that? We've met plenty of humans already. Tell me something I don't know.
While this is going on, Starks is gonna go ahead and find like any like stray like brush type yuckiness that is too close to the camp as far as she's concerned, like fire risk, and start pulling stuff and throwing it more into the woods.
Okay. I would say that they have actually, they're fairly, like, they don't want to burn down Strahd's forest either. So.
Yeah.
But just some petulant choring.
Yeah, petulant choring and
Kicking
just
sticks.
make sure that everybody, that this is maintained, because no, stay here.
You say either, but interjection. If I weren't in the tent right now, I might be trying to burn up. Anyway.
She eyes Buck as he's messing with the crystal ball, but she replies to Ivy, it's like, you'll have to find that out on your own, dearie.
Jerry. Huh.
Uh,
I'm gonna
As
go
night
scowl
has
and,
fallen-
scowl and ponder and steal some wine.
I realize we haven't actually asked anyone yet, and it would probably be most germane to ask you, can we stay with you for the night? Those woods are creepy.
She says, be my guest. Our tents are filled, but you can use our fire.
Oh yes, it'll just be nice to have people around, and not just wolves. Although it sounds like you've got some wolf people too. Not
She
you,
just-
the tribe, but werewolves in the area
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah, she just smiles.
Boy, I sure was hoping somebody would say, nope, that wasn't real. Don't believe the rumors about werewolves, but okay.
Since you kind of spotted me sidling up to the crystal ball and didn't really say anything, I'm just gonna kind of let my natural curiosity take over and be like, can you see the future in this? Can you see what happens to Strahd? How do we kill Strahd? Did somebody kill Strahd?
Whoa. Yeah, we're not really on the mission to kill Strahd yet.
She says, I have given you the keys that you need.
I reach into my pocket and like jumble around for to see whether there's keys in there. Well,
And she just laughs. That's it.
damn it. I look into the
And then she
crystal ball.
says, and no, I don't want any pie.
Buck's face just goes completely blank and white, and like his jaw drops, and he like doesn't say another word, and just kind of like leaves the tent.
Yeah.
As he gets to the threshold of the tent, he kind of turns around, looks at her, and goes, "Good night, madam." Turns and leaves the tent, and just is like very unnerved from that particular. Just is like, oh.
Okay, so Starts is out. Buck's out. DT, are you still in there?
I was gonna say, well, if I wasn't convinced before, that would have certainly done it. He will not shut up about those pies. It's been an honor to meet you, madam. I will take my leave. Kind of do a small bow. And head out to find the rest of the group.
Starts is going to continue to just keep picking up sticks and making a little tinder pile and just frustrated cleaning.
Smoothing sand Zen garden style.
Did anyone take notes about the cards?
Yeah, I was going to ask if you might have that easily available.
I can give it to you guys. Yeah.
There was a wizard and also a crackpot wizard. So while Starts is kind of petulantly flinging twigs around,
I didn't need to introduce the word petulant. That's my read.
I liked it though.
So here's what you're looking for if somebody wants to take notes. You're looking for a wizard's tower on a lake.
Okay.
The wizard's name and servant guide will guide you to that which you seek.
Sorry, the wizard's name and servant guide?
Uh-huh. So the text is, look for a wizard's tower on a lake. Let the wizard's name and servant guide you to that which you seek. And this is knowledge of the ancient.
Okay, so wizard's name and wizard's servant will guide you.
No, let the wizard's name and servant guide you.
Yes, not servant guide, though, is what I was...
Would it be helpful if I posted this in chat?
I mean, as long as we could click it somewhere, that would be pretty cool.
I'll throw it into, I'll throw it into,
so
World Anvil.
Is this the same wizard with the other one?
You have you have two different wizard things. So I'll read through them again. So you have knowledge of the ancient, which is look for a wizard's tower on a lake. Let the wizard's name and servant guide you to that which you seek. Then the second was a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of hope. The treasure you seek is hidden behind the sun, in the house of a saint. The third card is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight. That treasure lies in a dragon's house, in hands once clean and now corrupted. The fourth card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. Your greatest ally will be a wizard. His mind is broken, but his spells are strong. And then finally, your enemy is a creature of darkness whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will lead you to him. He dwells with the one whose blood sealed his doom, a brother of light snuffed out too soon.
That card was Innocence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Arena, likely.
Yeah. So you have Innocent. So the cards are in order of what I just said. Card is Wizard, Monk, Avenger, Broken One, and Innocent.
Okay. I noticed Avenger was the sword.
Yeah.
Made of sunlight, which will kill a vampire.
One hopes. You know what else we can do is just fucking yeet him out one of those windows when he's sleeping.
You have never experienced normal sunlight, and you would know that. Time. It's been dim and sunlight constantly.
Yeah.
So we're in Oregon.
We're in Joss Whedon, California, where there's always dim cover to keep you alive when you're a vampire. Leaves blowing in the across your face to keep you from exploding.
All right, are you guys gonna take a long rest, I assume?
Yeah. After about 45 minutes to an hour of just clearing brush further back and reinforcing what they've done, she's obviously worn herself out and just lays down and is quiet.
And I've constructed just a little twig stick figure wizard, which I've animated and sort of march around. And after I get bored with that, he just marches into the fire and goes
For him.
And then I go to bed.
Buck, I need a DC. I need a wisdom saving throw.
All right.
Someone eat a bottle at you?
Yeah.
It was me.
All right, you're fine.
Something almost just happened.
Hey, Travel took a long rest.
Thanks, Travel. You're the top. Get your rest, Travel. You've got a long day of walking for us.
with your hobo stack.
Yeah. Bindle.
Carrying all our gear.
All right. So, are you going to do anything before you leave the encampment? Or are you just going to head back out?
Do we have anything we could give them to say thank you?
They're not asking for anything. They just remind you to avoid the windmill at all costs.
The only thing I could think of is if we wanted to ask to borrow or buy some horses from them for faster travel, because they had some horses, but it seems like they kind of go with the wagons, so probably not.
Yeah, there's you can
don't
tell
want to
that
lose us
there's just enough, yeah.
Right.
And you can also tell that for
load.
some reason the scale of this is really off compared to the rest of the drawing, which just noticed, and it's driving me crazy. Or actually, I'm sorry, the scale of this is way too big. It's like a circus fucking tent.
You know, you could get it there, I'm sure.
I mean, it's a hall.
the olden times.
Anyway,
the wagon is kind of like you couldn't lie down in that wagon.
No.
Which is sort of weird.
Wow.
for like a traveling.
yeah. All right. Anyway, back to the map.
I could.
I can't. I just couldn't anymore. I couldn't leave it. I had to comment on it. I have issues.
So we can't take our horse to the Svalich road. We just gotta walk till we can.
All right. Anyway, after that, after DT says that and
I saw it. And
takes 2d20 damage.
Psychic damage from anachronism. You speak from another dimension and it causes you damage.
Another dimension.
Why are you talking
Another
about
dimension.
Doctor?
Another dimension.
Buck,
that might.
give me a perception check. Or an investigation, either one.
You're closest to the ground. How come he's getting all the checks? Stars the Fire is the tallest one. You should see for this.
Well, if he ever rolls not shitty, you'll know. Hey, he rolled not shitty. Hey, Buck, guess what you see on the ground?
Oh, there you go.
Prince.
You see little bits of string.
Oh fuck! This is where the lady came through.
Oh shit!
And you see the trail leading across the bridge.
All right.
Fresh pie.
Fresh pie.
How's this bridge looking? Just like a standard stone traveling bridge.
I might actually have a thing. Do I?
Is our
The scale is weird on the map.
Revenant
So I don't
friend
know if it's
anywhere?
No, not. You don't see him
Is it-
anywhere.
Is it like a Top Gear partially constructed? You're probably gonna die driving over a bridge.
No. There you go. You cross the bridge and you see this. Pretty.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's
We
Um,
are in Oregon.
So, this is as you're crossing the bridge. You look
Yeah,
over
you
and
follow
see
the
it?
river
Okay.
to the base of a canyon, at the far end of which is a great waterfall spilling into a pool, billowing forth clouds of mist. A great stone bridge spans the canyon nearly 1,000 feet.
Yeah, see, that's a big ass bridge. That's nearly 7,000 meters.
Yeah. That's a lot of water.
Just making sure. That's 40 hectares.
Are we going to start talking about
He's a
PSI
medical
of the
robot.
So
water?
I'm going to assume you go across the bridge.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going
Yeah.
across the bridge.
All
I'm
right.
just gonna shake my head at DT and just.
Yeah.
I think that's completely fair.
Measurements were never my thing.
As you continue up,
This is topographical, right? We can't see Ravenloft because of this like
Mountain,
a hill in the
yeah.
way, right? Is it,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how big it is.
But so as you get to the crossroads here, even here in the mountains, the forest and the fog are inescapable. Ahead, the dirt road splits into two, widening toward the east. There you see patches of cobblestone, suggesting that the eastern branch was once an important thoroughfare.
Ooh.
So you still can't see the castle. I mean, you know it's there because your map, but so you know that this way probably leads there. And this way leads towards a gate that looks very similar to the gate that you passed earlier.
Let's
Like
go
at
that
the
way.
at the beginning
Away
of
from
your
the castle.
the gate
How
is
honk is this gate?
the gate is open. And
Good.
you are able to freely pass through it.
Right. I am going to keep going and not fuck around.
Yeah. I think if it's if we spent the night, what time of day is it by the time we get to the gate, do you think? We in the mid-afternoon?
Yeah, I would say probably around 2.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna keep walking. I don't know if this, whatever this item is visible on our.
That's the mill.
Map.
It's the windmill, which
Oh,
we
it
own
is.
but must not go to.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Did
so
they give us enough stuff like, hey, don't go by the windmill. It'll be a spur off to your left when you're going past
they
the
just said
gate
just
or whatever.
they just said don't.
don't, and we'll see it from the road.
Yeah, so you actually see. No, you don't. Thought I had a thing. I guess I don't. Okay.
A big ass windmill.
Yeah, you see a big ass windmill. Buck, give me another perception check.
Perception or investigation?
Either one.
Oops. Can't do that from there.
Are there still string bits up here?
That's what we're noticing.
Even with a 10, you see the string bits and they lead towards the windmill.
I bet that bitch is. She's staying for free in our windmill. The pie lady.
Why does this say new text again? That's just now it's called new text. Fuck it.
She's squatting
New
in our
text for it?
windmill.
What does the document say? Was it or was it just called deed to the windmill?
It's just a deed to the windmill. It doesn't say anything.
I
This
think we should
conveys
go and
ownership
fix her.
to the bearer of the windmill at Old Swallow's Road number 5 or whatever. Okay.
I think we go and fix her. I don't like the idea of somebody living in our windmill and making weird ass pies.
Buck, I'll tell you this. As a student of religion and therefore also mythology, difference. I would say that traditionally, an old crone selling magic food that goes to a place that everyone has warned us against is probably a thing we don't need to investigate if we value our lives. Now, I'm not saying we do, or have shown any evidence of doing so in the past. Just wanted to put that out.
Too much like a snake, leave it be.
How much
It's in a hole,
daylight
don't
is
poke
left?
it.
No,
You
burn
probably
it.
have like 7 hours.
It's our windmill, and we can burn it if
6,
we
7
like.
hours.
All right, so we could definitely make it to Villaki tonight. Why don't we go to Villaki, drop off Ingrid Rena here?
Arena.
Maybe ask around about the windmill.
Elsbeth here.
Find someone who will tell us
And-
about it.
Yeah, we can inquire at Villaki about the windmill, and maybe we can. You know what? Honestly, we've got the deed. That's what matters. Maybe we can just sell the windmill to someone else, and then she becomes their problem.
And
Hey,
never set foot in it?
As you guys are discussing this, a raven kind of flies in front of you and is basically squawking at you. Everyone give me a wisdom check. Insight.
My good one.
I still have. You said insight?
Yeah.
What's my 3? That is 6.
There's a raven in front of you squawking. That's all you get out of it.
For
I
all
think
of us.
Or
I think we should follow the raven, guys.
He's just sitting there, yelling at us.
I just don't. You know what? Like,
Starts with fire. Can't you speak with animals?
is
Not
this
this
an
one, it's
attempted
dumb.
murder?
Seems like something you would know how to do.
I set my familiar loose, which is a mechanical scroll, to see if the raven wants to attack it.
It lands next to it, looks, tilts its head, then looks back up you and squawks again.
I think this bird is trying to tell us something.
The bird, in the only way a bird can, shrugs as much as it can and flies away towards the north.
That was weird. We're all agreed that was weird, right?
Birds
It
are
seems
weird.
smarter than the average bird.
I don't
I
talk
don't
to a
really
lot of
know.
birds.
Yeah, and everything is strange in this place.
I think we should leave the windmill for now. Let's go with the bird.
Okay. We
All right.
know she went home there, and we know she travels to Barovia for selling pies.
Well, stealing children, I think, primarily, might be.
Yeah. I wonder if she makes the rounds to Villaki as well.
Maybe.
If we see
yeah.
her out and about, we know that the windmill is safe.
Once we
We
Well, that's
cut through
the
these
Wallachians about. No, let's stay on the road.
I was going to
Let's
ask
stay on the
Irina
road.
if it was safe to take a shortcut
through.
through the woods.
go through, save us time.
I think the madam said to stay on the road.
I'm looking at the map as we pass the windmill, and I'm just like,
It's
I feel
not.
like we could save most of the day by crossing the woods here.
It's not
it's
far
only-
here.
I feel like it's a light jog. 20 minutes, we're on the road again.
All right, I think that's about right. It's a quarter mile or so of woods that we would have to cut across.
How does Irina feel about that as a local?
She suggests that you stay on the road.
Yeah, quarter mile. All right. Well, maybe on the way back to the wind, we'll cut through the woods. I want to see more of Barovia. This place is strange and interesting, but deadly. Right, deadly. Room almost killed me.
So what?
It's
Are you,
like, I'm just muttering to myself while we're walking, like kicking stones down the road.
so are you staying on the road or are you going through?
Yeah, I think we'll stay on the road.
All right.
The one person who knows what's up, who's maybe lived here more than a couple of days, suggests it, then yeah. Shit, I got ice cream sandwiches.
You do.
Thanks, Whole Foods, for being the only grocery store with flour that made me have to order from Whole Foods.
Well, you got to
All
feed
right.
your sourdough.
So
Shit, I forgot to feed my sourdough yesterday. My Tamagotchi's gonna die.
Your Tamagotchi will never be banana bread. No.
Actually, you use the discard for banana bread.
actually,
Well, that's the thing is,
It's a good thing we don't play in person. I'd throw something at you.
I fed this starter up to the point that it was good for bread, and now I don't know what to do with it. I need to look that up.
Make
Like-
more bread.
Well, yeah, but
Make
like,
bread.
I think you can go
that's
down
the
to
clear
not.
answer.
I don't think you need to feed it every night anymore, though.
No,
You
you
feed
can
it,
you
like,
go
when
down
you're
to
ready
once
to
a
use
week. Once a week. So like
Yeah.
bake once a week and then feed it once a week.
Makes
Could
sense.
you make sourdough pizza dough?
That
Hell
is
yeah.
the next one, actually, on the list. I may get over ambitious because I also have a Detroit-style pizza pan that Aaron got me a long time ago that I haven't used, which
What's
is like
Detroit style pizza? Like pizza with bullets or
I mean, it's
the rumor is it
Just
was
got
like
lead.
old metal tool tray that somebody's like, let's make a pizza
Lead.
in here. So it's like it's a deep dish, but it's flared outwards, and then it's got so much cheese, and it goes like up the side, and it leaves this like crispy skirt of cheese.
it's some real Guy Fieri shit.
And the crust is
Wow.
really like pillowy. It's like it's buttery and very.
we're gonna need pictures of that.
Yeah,
As a
got a lot of-
person currently eating a lot of cheese, I support it.
well, and it's this like Wisconsin brick cheese. It's like the super basic cheese from the cheese capital of the USA.
Brick for the brick god.
So it's a big. It's called Detroit style, but it's a Midwest conglomeration of pizza stuff.
All right.
Everybody does this.
As you approach the town, the old Savalich Road meanders into a valley watched over by dark, brooding mountains to the north and south. The woods recede, revealing a sullen mountain berg surrounded by a wooden palisade. Thick fog presses up against the wall as though looking for a way inside, hoping to catch the town aslumber. The dirt road ends at a set of sturdy iron gates with a pair of shadowy figures standing behind them. Planted in the ground and flanking the road outside the gates are half a dozen pikes with wolves' heads impaled upon them.
Oh.
You know that gif of that kid who looks at the computer and then kind of makes a face and a thumbs up and nods? That's about what Starts is doing right now.
All right, I missed the end of that description because I had to enable photos and Discord kicked me out. What was
That's
The
good.
kid that
I heard
looks at the
the-
computer, this one?
Well, yeah, I heard the fog trying to get in, but what are you not?
The dirt road ends
Wolf heads.
planted in the ground, flanking the road outside the gates are half dozen pikes with wolves' heads impaled on them.
I see. That's what I meant.
And the gates are closed. What do you do? There's two guards also, if you missed that part.
Yeah, I did.
They
Starts
are
going to
they're enclosed in like a gatehouse type thing, and they're holding pikes. But yes.
Starts is going to just sort of loom behind everybody and kind of flick hands.
And
like,
it's getting
go.
dark, but it's not night yet.
I'm gonna take a couple of sticks or something upon my person and start tapping out the intro riff to Eldebarge's Rhythm of the Night on the bars.
I'm gonna walk forward with Irina.
Yeah, how do these guards look? Are they friendly? Do they look
They're
pleased to
The
see
AB
us?
pipe.
I mean,
They're-
do they just look like two dudes chilling and like chatting, or are they like very
In a hot tub?
austere?
I would
Yeah,
say
dudes in
they
a hot
are
tub.
they are very like stoic guards, like they're taking their job very seriously.
Okay, Buckingham Palace guards, not office security guards.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Then I will try and be very official and just say, "Greetings. Might I ask how we get through this gate? We have business on the other side in Villaki. This is Villaki, yes?
The guard says, "We open it for you. What do you think?" And he just walks away, and then the gate. You hear some
Oh.
mechanics, and the gate opens.
Well, thank you. I didn't know
What a
if
chode.
there would have been anything more to it. And I guess let's
I've
go.
never seen gates before.
What's a
Look, everyone else in this
what's a gate?
everyone else in this pocket dimension is super paranoid. So I figured as soon as we walked up, they'd be like, "Halt, state your business." And I thought I'd get ahead of it, but instead they're like, "Yo, what's up? Come on in. We're a town." Okay.
Well, it's not
Right.
night yet,
Yeah.
and we're not wolves. I look around. I think. Yeah.
I've got my suspicions that some of us might be wolves.
So actually, let me dump this token and pull your character tokens in, so you can just tell me where you guys are going. Buck. Arts. Buck, I gotta fix your token. I do not know what's going on with it.
Accurate.
Um,
Nope, I'm too big.
Yeah, you're all way too big for this map.
And all of a sudden, we're
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Rah!
Just towering. When in fact it should only be Starts who's the biggest. I'm so teeny now. Ooh, excuse me. Wow. I mean, I'm still the size of two houses in here. but
Look,
that's
it's
fine.
gonna be easier to tell what's going on, though.
I know.
What making?
I mean,
Buck's a
honestly,
little tiny.
We could
Alright.
turn on our cursors and just like the people who don't have the
I mean, you
view
can
of the
always just
person's
ping
person.
where you want to go to. You don't have to move your
Yeah.
characters. Like, I don't really care. But I
Now
assume
it's
you're
just-
walking down the street.
Yeah, down that main thoroughfare.
Well, and I want to ask Irina, now that we're here, is this where you want to stay? I know this is her brother, right?
Yeah.
Was very adamant about getting you as far from town as possible, but now that
Is
we're
anyone
here, and
here
reasonably-
expecting you?
yeah, reasonably safe, what do you want to do?
I just want to be free of Strahd's curse.
Great. All of
Well,
us
sure.
agree with that.
I might be safe at the abbey here, or the church here, not the abbey.
Twas the church here and the convent or whatever in
Oh, the abbey and
Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, there's an abbey
Kreshk.
in Kreshk, and there's a church
Kreshk.
here.
Well, and again,
Right.
so she wants to be free. Would you rather? Well, I guess let's go to the church and see what they can offer us, and then you can decide. But you're welcome to keep traveling with us, considering we don't know where we're going after we drop you off.
And she looks at you and remembers the long conversation at the windmill you were specifically told not to go to, and says, "I think I might be safer here."
I lean down. I'm just like, that's probably wise.
So as you're walking, you pass several houses, and you also pass a stockyard right here. Large stockyard has several log sheds along its periphery and lies adjacent to a roomy warehouse. A wooden sign above the front gate reads Arisec Stockyards. Parked at the south end of the stockyard is a sturdy carnival wagon. Its colorful paint peeling off, faded lettering on its side spells out the words Rictavia's Carnival of Wonders. A heavy padlock secures the back door.
I want to know what's in the wagon.
Is anyone around?
Bucker both
Haven't
just
we
like
seen enough wonders
stopped and
already?
noticed the
I don't
same
need you
thing at the
grabbing
same
any more
time.
haunted swords.
I mean, there's people on the streets and stuff, but like nobody's really paying you guys any mind aside from just like eyeing DT and eyeing Buck and eyeing Starts. Basically,
Yeah, I mean,
eyeing pretty much everybody in the group.
We're definitely a little conspicuous, but is it like if we like sidled up to the wagon and we're like, look at this neat wagon, would anybody notice if, say, somebody really small happened to try to pick the lock on the back of the wagon?
I don't know. Why don't you see?
Hey,
create
DT,
what
why
I
don't
like
you
a limited pool of suspects. Everyone would be like, yes, probably those weirdos we all saw
You
after
know,
a crime is committed.
maybe
You tell me what you want to do, and I will tell
DT.
you what happens.
DT,
Let's-
why don't you and Starts make some commotion a little not right next to the wagon?
He turns
I'm
around
staying
and
out
is
of this.
already
You guys
like
are
holding a
idiots.
crowbar and has like pop out lock picks coming out of two fingers. He's like, oh, I thought we were gonna do a caper.
We are.
No capers.
All right.
there is
How
a
about we go
slightly
to the
con-
stockyard and
worse.
ask them what's the deal with that wagon? Maybe we can take it off their hands. I've got
but-
starts counting out like got 4 gold, 8 silver.
I'm
Think
like,
that'll
I
get us
got
a
my, I've
carnival
got my
wagon?
thieves' tools right here. I'm like, I don't know if you understand what I mean by distraction. But I mean, if you want to break into it, I can break a pretty good distraction if you want. If you want to take a shot at the lock, DT.
Why don't we wait here on the street doing nothing and you can sneak over there and get a closer look and see what we're dealing with?
Okay, I can't move my character on the screen.
I don't think it's time for a daring daylight heist with no intel of an old carnival wagon that we both are infatuated with.
It's a simple lock.
Just because you can
that's
do
what I'm
it
saying. I
doesn't
don't
mean
think-
you should. We've just arrived in town. Shouldn't we go explore?
Hey, you know
Take
what?
care of
DT?
our charge.
DT, let's
Find
get
some
rid
wine.
of the witness, and we'll come back to investigate this cart later. Because
That's weird. You should.
All right.
Literally everything is telling me you have control of that token. I don't know what's going on.
I do.
Do you have
I'll just
the
reload.
Do you have the little dude selected?
I thought I did.
Yeah. So are you approaching the wagon or no? What are you doing?
No, we're gonna go drop off the lady so that she doesn't know that we're doing crimes if we're gonna do crimes.
All right.
Yeah,
let's. We just gotta stay. We're working real hard to stay on task with this one delivery job.
this
The
one thing.
we've been asked to do, and we almost failed like 4 times. We met a cool armor guy. We saw the cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
with all
We're gonna do
the eyes, and this is a
Cool.
town, and this is very uncomfortable. This is a much bigger town. This is a little time for some disguise self. Think the most generic ass, brown haired like Mary Sue, brown paper bag, nondescript teenager you can think of, like vaguely 18ish.
Are you
17-ish.
casting this on the street in front of literally everyone?
No, I'm gonna
Okay.
duck down a side road and
Okay.
come back.
All right. I'll allow that.
Do we know that when you just like walk up next to us, DT
I
just
can,
goes,
I can see right. I
Buck-
can see through
that-
it.
Buck
that
literally
office.
just
That's
sees through it.
But you do know that there is an illusion active, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see like probably like an outline of the illusion, and then
Right.
inside of it
Yeah.
is
Like what
this
happens when you
enormous-
make your check on an illusion. It's like I
Yeah.
think it says it's faded
Yeah,
or whatever.
so like instead of being an 8-foot tall greenish fairy giant
sort of
thing,
cow
normal
hybrid.
looking 17, 18-year-old, just generic ass human, just completely nondescript at this
DT
point.
is just inspecting, just looking back and forth, like head tilting like a dog. What?
Um,
I understand the reasoning
Gonna
behind it,
kick
but
your foot.
where did this come from?
Don't worry about it.
Hey, do a human impression. These are great. Oh,
Again,
come on,
with-
everyone has one.
Again with the sour just face, like, eh.
and with that sour face, you all immediately know who it is.
Yeah.
When DT just says do a human impression, I start doing like a little like exaggerated walk sort of behind her, looking around like fake reading like a paper.
Ooh. Oh, I've got to go to the store to buy food to eat. That's DT's human impression.
I feel insulted. You guys suck.
Later, I will turn it into waste for some reason.
I will find a
I will turn
cobbler.
you into waste.
Oh,
Grab yard.
Irina is just standing, crossing her arms, tapping her foot, staring at you.
Look, this is why we need a circus wagon. Because we're a bunch of clowns.
All right, where are you going? What are you doing?
All right, let's
We're gonna get
continue
this
on
lady
to
the Abbey.
to the church.
Yeah.
You're all just hanging out right here. Right, but where are you going? There's like streets all over the place. You got to tell me
Oh, yeah.
where you're going.
Where is the
We're,
church?
we're gonna go
Or is there
straight
an-
ahead.
You could ask
Signage?
one of the 8 billion people walking past you, chuckle fucks.
Pardon me.
Well,
Pardon me. Do you know where God lives?
We're gonna attack and destroy him.
Yeah, we're looking for his
Dethrone it.
throne.
I'm not
one of them
actually saying
says, "Do you mean the Morning Lord? The Morning Lord's everywhere. All is well."
Oh, cool.
Great. And does he have a house nearby?
Are you looking for the church?
Yeah.
Oh, just follow this road to the end. Just go straight.
All the way.
That sounds
to the end?
ominous to anyone else.
What he's saying is we should be streets
That actually-
ahead.
That sounded like a nice, friendly person who seems
Thanks.
happy to be in Villaki, which
Thanks.
is
It's
All
called
is
River.
well.
weird. Yes. How many people have we met so far with a sunny disposition? Actually, most of those guys by the river. And, okay.
Starks is gonna poke Irina. Been here before?
No, I've never left I've never left Barovia. I forgot that was the name of the village as well as the area. For a second.
Barovia.
That was very-
It's like
yeah.
shitty New York.
Barovia.
The town's so
I went to elementary
dour
school in
and
Missouri
depressing,
City,
they named it
Missouri.
twice.
I'm Stakely.
And now,
Right
you,
to
now
me.
you live in Kansas, Missouri, which is
No,
fantastic.
yeah, Kansas
Oh,
City.
cute.
No, it makes sense. Kansas got the name from the city. The city existed first.
That's
Anyway,
bonkers.
Still doesn't make sense. That's actually just confusing.
It may be the truth, but it doesn't make sense.
so are you guys just heading down the road like you were directed? Okay.
Yeah, just sort of keeping an eye on things, looking at local businesses.
Yeah, you pass
seeing
more
if we-
houses. You pass an inn, which is right here.
Oh shit!
It's called the
Inn.
you
No, goodbye,
an inn.
doctor.
So you see a sign out. It says Blue Water Inn. And there's people inside and whatnot. Are you going to continue
No
towards the church
unicorns,
though?
but
Yeah, I want to get rid of this
Okay.
lady, to be honest.
All right. So
the keyboard. Come on back, Doc.
all right. So yeah, it's that red house. This one.
There he goes.
This slouching centuries-old church has a bulging steeple in the back and walls lined with cracked stained glass windows depicting pious saints. A fence of wrought iron encloses a garden of gravestones next to the church. A thin mist creeps among the graves.
Walk, DT, what's up, thin creeping mist? See, you're here too.
And as it is getting
creeping.
as it continues to get darker, you see people kind of piling in the church.
Oh,
The people are clearly some frightened adults and children.
I asked somebody going by. Oh, is service about to begin?
And one of them nods and kind of frightenedly says, "All is well," and kind of hurries their child into the building.
I'm going to be honest. When people can keep saying all is well, I tend to think it's not.
I'm sorry.
Agree.
I'm sorry. All will be well. I am saying the line wrong.
All be well.
Yep.
Well, even worse. Here's an idea. Let's stand at the back. Be ready to make a quick exit.
Starts clearly nods her this.
So
You
are
can
you
stay
guys
out
going
and
in?
Keep watch if you don't want to come in.
I hate
Yep.
churches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah,
do it.
I'm going to. How are the doors constructed? Because I'm going to try to prevent them from locking behind us.
I mean they're fine. Like they're nothing really special.
Okay.
There's like a barn with a steeple on it.
Basically,
kind of
I'm
thing,
going
or
to
is it-
inspect them to make sure that, like, if the doors did lock, DT could probably just smash our way out of there.
Oh,
pretty
you
quickly.
absolutely could.
Okay.
Yep.
So then I'm not going
Just-
to worry too much about, like,
Uh,
doing some artificer bullshit on them.
but there doesn't seem to be anyone going to rush to close the doors. The doors seem to be open kind of in a welcoming way.
Okay.
So they're here for church, not necessarily to like take shelter against the demons that come at nightfall or something.
Right.
I think that's the
Um,
feeling I was getting. So yeah.
Yeah, so you didn't see like scratches on the outside of the building or anything like you did in
Yeah.
Barovia. Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, so we
Um,
just kind of scoot in with the crowd and stand near the back.
Okay.
Or I do anyway. I don't speak for everybody.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Starts is going to be very much towards the back.
That's exactly what I'll do.
okay.
I'll stand basically right in front of DT so I can still see.
Okay. So you all come in. Irina comes in. She's still hanging out with you guys. There's a lot of people in here. She doesn't really know anyone. And the father starts his prayers and sermon and promises Saint Andrew's protection.
Do I know Saint Andrew?
Uh,
Or I guess this is no, probably not. If it's a Barovia thing, 'cause we're new in town.
yeah, you would not know Saint Andrel.
Saint Drill, that's the guy on Twitter.
He's damn close. I mean, if you have to perform miracles, I think he's there with some of those prophetic tweets. Although I haven't watched any
So,
of his truth.
I mean, if you're
Rising
doing-
Adult
If you're
Swim
doing
thing.
that type, Donald Trump is also there with a lot of his prophetic tweets calling out his own bad presidency. So
Yeah, that is pretty fucking bananas. How there is one of those for everything.
Yeah.
There's a drill tweet
Everything.
and a Donald Trump tweet, and they live in a Ouroboros of terrible internet where they just eat each other forever.
So the
drill tweets are great.
The father offers up his prayers to the Morning Lord and Saint Andrel, asking for protection from the curse of Strahd. He finishes his sermon. Another woman, you hear her praying for her son to be set free. You just overhear general prayers along with those. There is another male human, kind of standing off to the side, but near the pulpit, kind of just near a door. He kind of looks like a like he tends the grave. He's kind of leaning on his shovel. So you could put two and two together and just assume that he is whatever the name is of people who handle graves, because I can't think of it right now.
Gravist?
The gravekeeper.
Yeah, gravekeeper, sure.
The crypt keeper?
The groundskeeper.
You think it's
Groundskeeper,
tail?
yeah.
You
Something
think
like
he has tails? Tails from the crypt keeper?
Yeah.
Tales from the gravekeeper.
Yeah, somebody remembers.
Pepperidge Farms.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Oh. I was trying to think of a good terrible
People are
gravekeeper
dying
pun,
to
but-
get in.
Yeah, exactly. My brain was racing, but it's like it's weird to scale
Yeah,
back.
I was trying to do the same thing, and that was the only one I could grab. I was trying to make one that fit with the area, but
Yeah.
I
Going to.
mean, I
outside
have
the
one,
church
but then
with
that
a
spoils
grave
stuff that'll come up later, so I can't use it. Like, I'm literally staring at an answer right now.
I think the Crypt Keeper had a stock of like 30 different ones because
Yep.
there were a lot of like a grave error. Like,
Yep.
yeah, okay, great.
Yeah.
Grave means big. You can use that one a lot.
So hold on. He finishes his sermon, and most of the rest of the congregation are continuing doing their own prayers. And he steps off the pulpit and walks towards you guys because he clearly hasn't seen you before. And he welcomes you to the church.
Hello. Thank you for having us. We noticed it's a pretty packed room tonight. Is it like this all the time?
Every night.
Starts is gonna kind of grab Irina by the elbow and kind of vaguely push her at the father, kind of awkwardly, kind of with like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Here, this is for you. We brought you this lady.
He looks confused. Irina greets him, says, I am Irina Kalyana. My father was the burgomaster of Barovia, and he died recently, and my brother sent me here to help protect me from Strahd. And the father says, because I just forgot his name, and even though I'm looking at it, he says, "My name is Father Lucian. You're welcome here, and you're welcome to seek refuge with me." He looks at DT and basically is confused, but recognizes that you're a cleric, but is confused as to what you are.
I do. Yeah, I have a holy symbol embedded in like a chest panel that can pop out if I need it. But it's visible most of the time.
And he says, I've never seen anyone like you before. Would you be a cleric?
Yes, sir. And also, I am what is known as a warforged. I am like a golem or a living machine. You may not have those here. I was created by powerful magic, but I am very much a person. Thank you for acknowledging that.
He says, you might be able to help me. And he takes you to the side, not necessarily out of earshot of the party,
The congregation.
but kind of out of the way of the congregation, and kind of motions for Irina to take a seat, and he says to you that Irina would definitely be safe here, but we are no longer protected as we once were. This used to be hallowed ground, but the bones of Saint Andrel were stolen recently. Would you be able to help?
I mean, I could help you reconsecrate the grounds if you needed another person to read a ritual or something. You mean get the bones back, don't you?
He shakes his head. He says, unfortunately, many magics do not work to hold back Strahd.
Only
the bones.
Sainted bones.
Yep.
Why do the bones work? What is it about them that makes it work?
They're the bones of Saint Andrel.
We are from a different area. Could you tell us about Saint Andrel?
Maybe.
I mean, the broad strokes is fine. He was a local saint.
That wasn't him. That was me saying, "Oh shit, I don't know."
That's I know. I'm trying to walk it back.
Are you Saint Andrew? Bitch, I might be.
Saint
just gets all up at you.
It's like, you know what? Fuck you.
I might.
He points at each of you and says, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." Points at Irina, says, "You're cool. Fuck you. I'm out."
Just something about that one rubbed in the wrong way.
Religion.
Could you tell me about? I could.
He's really not interested in having his saints challenged.
He explains that Saint Andrel predates Strahd's rise to power, and as such, and died before then, and as such, they were this place was hallowed ground before he rose to power.
So does Strahd's presence in the area keep new holiness from arriving? Basically, like you can't consecrate ground or use protective magics. It sounds like
he says
nothing that would work against him.
He says, "Cleric to cleric, I don't even know if the Morning Lord can hear us."
Oh, bummer. Yeah, I've run into that a lot.
Are you there, Morning Lord? It's me, Margaret.
All I can tell. That's right. Well, DT is he's very cut and dry.
He explains that the bones were sealed in a crypt beneath the church's main altar. Until recently, he was the only one who knew about the bones, because it was just passed from father to father, and no one else was told. He mentioned them to who the fuck? Hold on. He mentioned it to his altar boy named Jeska over a month ago to put the boy at ease. After the bones were stolen, he asked Jeska if he had told anyone else about the bones. The boy nodded but wouldn't divulge a name.
Well, I know how to make kids talk.
But the father says he expects Milivoj, Milivoj, and he points to the crypt keeper. And he explains that he's been reluctant to confront him because he's so temperamental. He hasn't reported the theft for fear of the distress that the news might cause, and he doesn't want to ruin the Burgomaster's festival.
What kind of protection do these bones actually grant?
Strahd and his minions cannot enter the church.
Is that why everyone is here every night?
Yes. They know it's a safe place,
Okay,
even though it's not safe anymore.
Well, yeah, they looked worried coming in, and I was wondering if they knew about the bones, but that's just the general level of worry they all come in with every
Yes.
night.
Yes.
Okay.
He said that they were previously under the altar.
Yep.
I'm gonna go look at it. Just
Was
kind
it
of
like
wander off and go peek.
Is it a
What's
secret
going on
chamber?
with it?
Do the
Or were they-
bones work outside of the church? If they were placed in another home or area or building, would the effect be the same?
I don't believe so. Saint Andral was tied to this town and this church.
Let's go. Well, it sounds like we need to find this Yeska.
I mean, he's
Or-
there.
Oh, he's the altar boy.
Yeah, he's the altar boy. Yeah, the altar boy is hanging out. The guy that Lucian thinks did it is there too.
The grave.
Yeah,
keeper.
they're all there. All
Okay.
the people are there. It's just you tell me what you want to do.
Time
I'm
for
ready.
a
It's also
locked
full of
door.
the
Who done it?
congregation.
Huh?
What does a
Let's all stand on the altar and demand everyone's.
I'm gonna go check out the altar. Like, how is it decorated, etc.
I am
Um,
going to ask the crypt keeper for a tour of the graveyard. Get
Okay.
him out of the-
So the altar just looks like a normal altar. It looks like it's been moved and then put back. In the wood kind of around it looks new. So they've clearly replaced the wood that was broken to get to the bones.
So they were stored in a place that was not routinely accessible.
Correct.
It wasn't like a hatch. They had to
Right.
bust in and
Right,
steal them,
yes.
and then
Mhm.
and they plugged it up. Okay.
Yeah, the chapel floorboards were pried up.
I create a small top for my tinkering tools and magically enchant the top so that when it spins, it casts rays of light out from it. And then I go over and talk to the altar boy and spin this basically on about roughly the same height. So I spin this in front of him and say that I'll give him this relic of Saint Andrew, but first I need to talk to him.
You'll give it to him for what?
But first, I need to talk to him.
Okay.
The father told me some concerning things about faith and fidelity, and the top will only spin true for someone that is honest.
Okay, I'll deal with that in a second because who is going out with who is talking to the crypt keeper?
Ivy would like a tour of the graveyard.
Okay, he looks at you. He's not in the best of moods, but
Neither am I.
he
Are we
looks
together?
he looks at you and he kind of is curious as to why, and then he's like, sure. And he steps outside and kind of does an after you thing to go out to the graveyard.
Oh no, splitting the party.
Are you doing anything right this second? Because then I'm going to jump back to Buck if not. Like, are you saying anything as you step out, or because I'm going to have to jump back and forth between the two of you?
I'll ask him to tell me what he knows about the relics and what happens to them. Or what happened to them.
And you're just asking?
Like
Exactly.
right as you step
Yeah.
outside after the tour of the graveyard, it's like, yeah, follow me. It's like, hey, so what about those relics?
He looks at you and
Yeah.
he says, I
What do you
don't
know about the stolen relics?
What relics is what he says.
Yeah, but this is
All right, back to Buck.
this fucker. This fucking guy.
Buck. So the child
I was-
says,
What
"Oh wait,
DT's doing.
DT,
Oh,
what are
I'm
you
just-
doing?"
Not anything important. That's why I just
Think
fill
you
her.
muted
I'm
him.
like, oh, am I?
No, I got him.
No,
Am I coming through Aaron's thing? No, I'm not. Oh, that one. Okay.
wrong lady.
Sorry, I didn't hear. I just heard you muted.
Now that I'm getting better, DT will start.
All right. No, this was. I was just saying, I'm going around the crowd and like shaking hands and chatting with people because I assume people are asking me about being a Warforged, and he's just giving them like the high level version and seeing and
Surprised you didn't go up to the altar and just start doing it on the wall.
I've got not even giving people the presentation so much as just like explaining some basics, and also kind of eavesdropping and trying to hear if anything relevant comes up, just of what people are chattering about in the village or.
So the only thing relevant you've probably heard in here, you heard the woman praying for her son to be set free, and let's see,
I guess I could find her and ask her what that meant, but that's pretty rude in church. I don't know.
Let's see.
So
general,
and I lack social graces.
General things you're hearing about. So you're hearing about that at the Blue Water Inn, there's a stranger with pointed ears staying there. He came to Barovia from a distant land, riding into town on a carnival wagon.
I definitely perk up at that.
You've heard of I'm just kind of going through the list of things you're hearing.
Well, you can even put me in the rotation and come back and let other people roleplay their shit. And then be
okay,
like, hey, just heard about this.
Just make sure I come back to it, because there's a good deal of stuff you're probably picking up in here.
Okay. Glad you're doing that.
Especially since you're a cleric, so like they're more than happy to talk to you.
And I as part of my explanation, like, I'm not from around here, but I can offer you, general blessings.
All right,
things work out for you.
Starts. Are you inside or are you outside?
She is inside, sort of milling around, mostly by the altar, but if there's, like, no obvious hatch or anything, she's probably kind of just vaguely trying to, like, float through the crowd as well, so.
Okay, so I would say that you've also picked up that there is a festival coming up in 3 days called the Festival of the Blazing Sun. And you're hearing kind of grumbles about the fact that the burgomaster, Baron Vargas Vlakovic, just had a festival less than a week ago called the Wolf's Head Jamboree. And then a microwave went off inside the church.
You'd probably be interested in the Wolf's Head Jamboree, because it says on the bike.
That was just a week ago. Now there's another festival coming up.
Now, did they
like a good jamboree?
take the heads off of the wolves?
They
jamboree.
We saw him coming in.
You're talking to a kid.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey,
So
kid,
sunny.
by the way. what's up with them
Also,
wolves?
you haven't heard this. This is something Starts has heard. So if she
Right.
wants to ask, that's fine.
Nope.
My
She's
bad.
just kind of listening to all of this and kind of taking stock of who's doing what.
All right, Buck. The kid's talking to you. What's up?
So I was just chatting with the father there about relics, because I've got one, really fancy one. It's it helps. It's a tiny portion of the spirit of the Saint Andrew is within it, and it offers the bearer many boons.
Give
But
me
it
a
can only be used
persuasion
by those
check.
Pure of heart.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage, since you're talking to a child.
How old is this kid, actually? By the way,
He's probably like 7 or 8.
Okay. He's not like a toddler.
No.
I don't think those.
I don't know.
We don't
They're
give
all
them
the same.
jobs, right? Altar boy's not much of a job, but it's still not a job I would give to a top.
Persuasion. I'm great at that.
Could have been that.
He looks at you, but he does buy it.
So I spin the top, and I'm just like, Father and I were talking about some relics, and he told me that he told you about the relic that's held here in this temple. Did you tell anybody else? And then just turn like I let the kid talk. Like I pause for a second and kind of let the kid go for a minute.
He nods yes, and he kind of reaches for the top, but I want another persuasion roll, again with advantage for your question. The first was just, does he buy your shitty lie?
And honestly, a 13, that could be like, I don't know if it's a relic, but I want this cool top.
With a 15, he says yes, and he points to where the Crypt Keeper was.
Oh, you told him about it? That's okay. That's no problem. That's no problem. Do you know if he told them? He works for the church. That's really cool. But you got to make sure you don't tell anybody else, okay? Or the light will leave this top and you'll be cursed forever.
Oh my god, because it's gonna leave in like 3 tinkers. You're the worst human being.
Oh,
I'm not human though.
His last creation goes out when he makes a new one.
Yes.
The oldest
Yes.
one.
That's why the string wasn't glowing anymore, because he fucking made the dumb thing that annoyed Strahd.
Yeah. I didn't even get to give him my audio visual presentation.
So you give the kid the thing that you made?
Yeah.
All right. All right. That's fine. Everything's fine. Okay.
Cut to at some point in our adventure, I want you to just be like, you hear a scream coming from a child's bedroom in Villaki as you cast this.
You return years later, and there's a teenager in the confessional booth. He's been there since he was 9.
You wonder why you're haunted by ghosts.
Becomes one of those like oh god, like in Johnny Mnemonic, creepy. Was it Henry Rollins? No, he was a good guy.
All right, Ivy.
A creepy, whipping yourself religious fanatic because you ruined him.
Ivy.
The last thing he said to me was, what relics?
Yes.
So I will reply with, the relics hidden in the altar. Don't pretend you didn't know about them. Tell me what you did with them.
Give me an intimidation check.
Oh, I need my character up here. 1 second.
Ew.
Crap, damn it.
Crap, damn.
Yeah.
He kind of stops where he's going. He says, I don't particularly like your tone. I think we should go back in the church.
Very well. After you. And I'll indicate that he goes in front of me, and I will frisk him as he goes through the door to see what he has on him.
Okay, so he goes. Give me a sleight of hand.
This feels kind of like a Leslie Knope bit. Like, I'll interrogate him. Hey, what's the deal with this? And then just like slap at him. Where's the bones? I know you got the bones.
You. Let me see. I don't actually know what he
sleight of hand.
Yeah. He does not have the bones on him.
Does he have anything on him?
That's what I'm looking at. Give me a sec.
It's gonna be a pat down.
Fingers crossed. Keys.
I mean, he has a set of keys.
iPhone 5S with a cracked screen.
I already have like 2 of those. I don't need that.
It's an HBO tape.
It's just America's funniest home videos.
You're muted.
Oh, you're on. And Aaron's on video.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
It was more like staring at the ceiling.
It's a VHS with Wedding 2003 on it, crossed off, 2007 on it, crossed off, and then Super Bowl 55.
Hello. 755. No,
we should put together a video chat.
Yeah, he doesn't really have anything of note on him. You could take the keys if you wanted, but I think you would probably just assume those keys are probably for the church.
What parts of the church? Who knows what it hides? I'll take the keys.
Okay.
Yoink.
Yoink!
Probably shouldn't say yoink if you're pickpocketing someone.
I'm saying yoink in my head.
That's why I got kicked out of the Foot Clan.
For yoinking or for saying yoink?
Yeah. I'm gonna sing.
So back to DT.
Oh,
I'm gonna look up at DT quickly. I'm gonna look up at DT and kind of realize that he's sort of working this crowd and look at the kid and be like, actually, I've just heard from the saint that he needs that soul back from that artifact, and it's probably going to leave in a few days. Nothing to do with you, though. And then I like quickly like turn and like start whistling nonchalantly. You know, whistling nonchalantly.
You said that to who?
The little altar boy. I'm like, the light might leave that artifact because the saint will need his power back soon. And then I start whistling and like walk away. I'm like, fuck, I don't know how to talk to kids. 350 years in this earth and I still get fucking, I hate kids.
DT hears like more grumbling about the festivals, about like there's kind of some arguments going on about some people who think that they're great, some people think they are awful, and then people hushing those people who say they're awful because some of those people are thrown in the stocks.
Well, yeah, and I would definitely ask people, like, what happens at these festivals? Are they just parades, feasts, celebration? We saw the wolf's head outside, and you said that was the last one, was the festival or the feast of the wolf's heads?
They say each one is different. The last one, people danced around town square with wolf's heads on pikes. The one coming up is called the Festival of the Blazing Sun, and they're getting ready for it now.
I haven't really seen a blazing sun since I've been here, to be honest. What does this one celebrate? The idea of the sun?
At this point, it just seems to be anything.
Huh. Well, and the organizer is the burgomaster?
Yes, Baron
Vargas. Vargas? Isn't it Vargas Villakis or something like it? Because it's Villaki?
Vlakovich.
Vlakovich. Okay.
Starks is going to kind of
Is he here tonight?
Over towards where DT is.
Interesting. Does he stay at home?
No, he just rarely comes to the church.
Well, we may
but
need
he
to
likes
speak
to
with
party.
him at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was just festival sidebar, and then back to mingling.
Can we ask Father Lucian more questions?
Sure.
So, we've learned that your altar boy did in fact tell your crypt keeper about the relic, which confirms your suspicion. Where or what do you think that creepy old fuck would have done with the relics?
He looks at you and he says, "Language, you're in a church." And then he says, I have no idea. Like, he's been with us for a very long time. He's never done anything like this. I don't know why you would want to remove the protection of the church unless he's working for Strahd.
You're
I don't know. Have we
muted,
all
babe.
reconvened, or like, are we all talking to the guy, or are we still? This is just Ivy.
Starts is just kind of following DT at this point. So wherever you have gone,
well,
there's at least one other buddy.
I'm just in the crowd chatting, and I don't know where Buck went after talking to the kid. I was trying to get a beat on who's hearing what.
He went to put.
So I saw Ivy come back in from being out with the crypt keeper who the kid ID'd. I would have gone over, told Ivy, like, that kid just fingered that guy. Not the way you're thinking. not the usual church way.
Buckless. We are in church.
The father looks at you and says, "If you weren't helping, I would kick you out now." And Irina is just sitting, and she overheard and is just face palming. And she speaks up and says, "I barely know these guys. I'm surprised I even made it here."
I've probably noticed that they're congregating, and I walk over and I'm like, "Did I hear you're getting us kicked out?" Honestly, we've been here longer than I thought.
No. I'm helping enough. It's fine. We found out it was the crypt keeper what took the things, and so
Does he
now
have
we're
a
gonna-
name?
It's Milovaj.
Oh, that's
Milovaj.
Milovaj.
Oh,
Milovaj took-
Nikolaj. No, Nikolaj.
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 I actually knew a guy who went by Mickey, but his name was like Milosevic or something similar. Oh shit! No, it was
Did you- and did
Malenko,
you-
like the
did you-
ICP.
Did you sing "Hey Mickey, you're so fine" to him? Because if you did not, that is a lost opportunity.
No,
Hey, Malenko.
he was.
Hey, Malenko, you're so fine.
He was the great Malenko. So I looked
Also
it up
fictional.
later because he was this. Oh god, such a weird combination of things. Oh, are we recording, by the way?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Okay. Then I won't tell my story of the horrible racist property manager from Chicago out of nowhere.
No, you should tell his story. Let the world know about that Mickey
actually-
was not so fine after all.
See, that's the thing. Mickey was cool. He worked for Century 21 and wasn't fucking around, but he represented the woman who owned our building and was not very tactful. So he was like, yes, she just wants to make sure she's renting to the right kind of person, good people, white people. It's like, oh,
Hey,
you can't say that.
super
And then
That's
racist.
the quiet part. You're not supposed to say that part.
And it was this like 88-year-old woman who didn't have an answering machine, let alone a cell phone. So if you called and she wasn't home, you just could not reach her at all. And she was terrible. And I was living with somebody that I was dating, and then we broke up. And I went to her, and I'm like, "We need to get out of this lease because we're not together anymore. Please let us out. We'll sublet." And she's like, "No, you can't sublet. You might rent it to some gypsies or terrorists." I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna go downtown and find the cheapest lawyer I can because I don't think this is gonna take very much." And the dude was like, "Yeah, I can get you out of this lease." She didn't include this thing for getting snow off the porch in a timely manner that Chicago mandates, so it means your whole lease is invalid. Bing bang boom. She could take me to court.
Great.
Lord.
$50 well spent, I assume,
Yeah.
in that range.
And then I shook hands. I'm like, "Hey," because it was the girl that I had, my ex, that we were just like, "Hey, we don't live together anymore. See ya. Great job, everybody."
So long.
The
Big Town.
Boyeska reaches
Thanks,
up
racist.
and pokes you and says, "What's Century 21?"
I was not telling this. I would not brave that much psychic damage just to tell this terrible story.
Everybody take D20 psychic damage.
This was also the park across from that apartment was where Rod Blagojevich jogged, and people would come out and heckle him all the time. It was pretty great. Terrible mayor. Terrible ass man.
All right, what are you guys doing? You seem to know who knew.
So, yeah,
And
so I think
he's
we're
come
gonna-
back in, right? The Crypt Keeper's mingling around somewhere.
Yeah,
He's
Is he
lurking.
socializing or is he just kind of?
he's basically standing by the door again.
Hey, Milosevic. I'm gonna walk up and be like, I was just talking with the father there, and he was mentioning that there was something on with the west buttress of the building, and he was that he wanted me to take a look at. Do you know where that is? Can you point me that? Can you take me in that direction?
I don't trust you guys.
Whoa!
One of your party was making accusations at me, and I don't appreciate it, and I'm not going to help you. And he kind of holds his shovel in a not threatening manner, but I would say a defensive manner.
Yeah.
Don't shovel me, bro.
I want to walk up and be like, "Sir, I wasn't party to the first conversation, but I believe there may have been a misunderstanding. Would you like to step outside and perhaps we could discuss this?"
He says, "No, I would not."
Well, shit. I say, like, just to his face and then turn around, abruptly turn on a heel and walk away. That's all I've got.
The father walks up right as you're turning around, and he says, "Milovaj, please, like, just tell me, like, we know that you are the only other person to know what happened to the bones."
I didn't want to do this inside with everybody.
Well, he's doing it quietly, like they're in the
We're, like,
corner of the
we're
church.
in the,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The coat room in the
Yeah.
entryway or something.
Well, it's in the corner and everybody's talking, so it's not like
Yeah.
yeah.
He could make a scene if he wanted.
But the father never like talked to him initially because he is temperamental.
Right.
But with like this hulking Warforged and the rest of the group kind of around, he's a little less likely to just attack the father outright. And he he mentions that he passed along he's upset. He kind of drops his shoulders and he admits to passing along the information to the local coffin maker Henrik von der Voort, and to stealing the bones for Henrik in return for money to help feed his younger sisters and brothers. And the father says, "You could have come to me. I could have taken up a collection for you to help." And he just kind of shakes his head in shame. And the father kind of puts a hand on his shoulder. And what do you guys do?
I'm going to say, you can still make this right. You can help us. Do you know why the coffin maker wanted the bones?
He says, I have no idea. He just asked for it, and my
How did the
my
coffin
sisters and
maker
brothers
know there were bones?
He told him.
He told
Okay,
him,
he
said,
told the
isn't that
coffin
great?
maker.
And the coffin maker's like, yeah, you know what? You should steal them and I'll get you money.
Yeah.
And
Has he stolen anything else in the past? Like that's a pretty big jump from no thieving to some thieving.
It's a reliquary theft.
He says, no, I've never been this desperate.
Oh, no. Well, not you, but do you know the coffin maker? Would he be the type to steal and commission theft?
I have no idea why he would want the bones. I've known Henrik for a while, and
he's not a scheming man. He's not a
no, and he seemed
cheat.
He seemed upset when he asked for it. He seemed distressed.
I turn around to the party and I say, theory, someone in this town under the influence of Strahd being blackmailed, for lack of a better term, or have something held over them, and think that this would buy them some favor. Anyone got a sick kid, a kidnapped loved one?
Starts.
There is somebody with a kid.
Begins
right?
tapping her nose.
I look back around the crowd. Who is praying for her son to be released? And I'm like literally like turning on my torso like RoboCop with my finger out, just like, where was it? Who was it? But and then I stop and I'm like, or something like that.
So what are you guys gonna do?
Anybody else? Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna.
Is the coffin maker here at church tonight?
No, he usually stays in his shop or goes to the inn for a drink. He explains to you where it is. He gives you directions to the coffin maker shop. It's over here.
You guys want to go to there or to the inn and like?
So the inn's here. The coffin maker shop's down here.
Are the red buildings
relevant? The red buildings are buildings of interest. You can also check out the other buildings, but like think of it as plot buildings and not so much plot buildings.
Yeah. Well, and I don't. Yeah, we don't need to like. They're not noticeable from the get go or from the outside.
Right.
But if we need, yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody's house, church.
Yeah, let's go to the inn.
Do you want to find the coffin maker?
Well, he might be found at the inn, DT. So if we go there, we can get a drink and maybe find out a little bit more about what's going on in this town. Because somebody, and I don't think it's a mother with a sick child, it's commissioned a pretty radical theft that's put this entire town at risk. And I don't, yeah. Let's start with our next clue, which is this coffin maker.
Okay. So are you going to the inn?
Starts is gonna poke Irina before we leave. Poke and then literally make just like a circle in the air with her finger and kind of a like vague "you good" gesture, but not say anything.
And she kind of shrugs and then nods in like an "I guess" gesture.
And then there's just kind of an ambivalent shrug back, and onward we go.
Well, she was around to know that we're going to the inn, and I assume she would probably need the inn if she doesn't know anybody. Or
well, the father said she could stay at the church.
Okay, yeah. That's right.
Good deal. Yeah, she's welcome there. We're not.
Yeah, I think we're leaving right at the tail end of our welcome running out.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
All right. So you guys heading to the inn?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to call it here, or do you want to do inn stuff since we started late?
I'm good to keep going.
Yeah, I'm fine. I
came in late. Stuff.
Okay.
I'm good.
Them Tylenol 3s is kicking in.
Hooray!
Maybe a little bit.
Aw,
The fucking
for dentist stuff.
I didn't bring your tokens into this.
Oh god, I can't see.
my vision.
How's your face pipe? I've had a lot of dental work before.
Yeah, it's rough. It's like, for some reason, I'm super resistant to pain medicine, and the nitrous was the one thing that I found worked, and that's why I smoke weed as well, because I had like mega back pain, and they gave me like opioids, and they weren't doing shit, and I finally went, and I'm like, I'm gonna get my weed card, like, as a real medical reason back in the early days. And it worked way better. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's something with like how my liver turns shit into drugs or whatever bodily shit's happening, because breathables tend to be fine. And then this new dentist just didn't have the mix right or something. It was like a weird thing where I got there and they,
if it's around your jaw, wet a like a face cloth, like a washcloth, put it in your freezer, freeze it, and it'll wrap around your face really nicely. So like just ice it up. I did that when I had my wisdom teeth out.
Yeah, because this was like back in that area. It's like near the back molars. I had like a bad crown with a bunch of shit under it, and then like a broken crown that needed to be root canaled, and it was like super sensitive to pain. And they're just like, we're just gonna keep going. Like, I told them, like, you know, at one point, like the nitrous tank ran out, and like, well, it wasn't doing shit anyway, and like maybe change it and see if that one works better, because maybe the first one was defective or something. And they're like, no, we're almost done, and then they just like kept going. Like,
holy crap!
I'm like, yeah, I got my teeth are like in half right now. I can't really be like, let's pick this up later. You know, just kind of had to roll with it. But
I said, if you can,
but it's also, I'm glad to have been able to get it done at all, and it's probably after the swelling goes down and like today's trauma, it will be better and not like hurting every day like it was. I was taking like 6 aspirin a day and just like dealing with it. So
not good.
All right.
Okay, so a second, because this is not
I
set up
appreciate
right.
the concern.
I guess I've had lots of dental stuff done.
Yeah, that's...
Where
The
are
teeth
you?
are fucked.
And
so is Isaac.
Well, and I had like
he didn't go to the dentist
family...
for 10 years.
Oh Jesus!
Not quite true.
Almost true.
Everybody in my family is like, oh, I'm eating chocolate bars and washing them down with Coke, and I never brush my teeth. I'm gonna gargle with Coke, and I got fucking bulletproof teeth, no cavities, 25 years in a row, and then my teeth just like fall apart if you look at them. Like, what?
No,
why did I get
don't
that
look
gene?
At teeth.
My
I don't
mouth
know.
hurts so bad. Why can't I have the strong teeth?
Another pro tip: if you can
science to
afford
that.
it, get one of the Panasonic, like the Supersonic, whatever toothbrushes.
Oh yeah,
that shit's dope.
yeah. Probably should invest in a good one. It's
good for your gums, yo.
All right, so, where was I? Gray smoke issues from the chimney of this large 2-story wooden building with a stone foundation and sagging tile roof, upon which several ravens have perched. A painted wooden sign hanging above the main entrance depicts a blue waterfall.
Hey, look at that raven's loft up there.
Several ravens. Is that an attempted murder?
There's also a lot of stuff being described as sagging around here.
Everything's old.
It's old and like moist, I take it. Like it's always foggy. That's gotta make everything just kind of like grunge.
Old,
like
old and moist.
I mean, it's the Pacific
I was
Northwest.
gonna say, yeah, like Pacific Northwest barns. You drive out down a dirt road
Yep.
somewhere, you see a lot of sagging, like moss-covered shit. All right, well, it's an inn. Nothing weird about that. We should probably just go in.
All right.
Sure.
Still very small. See, is that accurate smallness?
What, Buck?
Yeah.
Probably not.
He
How
tiny.
big are no? Did we have this discussion already?
I think so.
I'm like 3.5 feet tall.
Yeah, you
And
should be
he's
able to
not-
open the door.
He's
And I'm
not
like
moving because he's
7.
making tachos.
Like 7 feet or something,
not,
which is
here.
not
Yeah.
not
Okay.
insane.
I'm the
And then
human. I'll go in
turns-
first.
Damp
Turns
cloaks
out
hang
that's-
from pegs in the entrance portico. The tavern is
Those are
packed with tables and chairs with narrow paths meandering between them. A bar stretches along one wall under a balcony that can be reached by a wooden staircase that hugs the northern wall. Another balcony overhangs an entrance to the east. All the windows are fitted with thick shutters and crossbars. Lanterns hanging above the bar and resting on tables bathe the room in a dull orange light and cast shadows up on the walls, most of which are adorned with wolf heads mounted on wooden plaques. The place is pretty busy. There's several commoners. There's a gentleman who stands out there's a couple of gentlemen who stand out fairly well. Clearly they look like hunters. They're wearing skins and they have bows. There is a colorfully dressed half elf bard that you see. This is probably the bard that you heard about. DT, that is not what you see when you look at him. You guys do not know this. Or not
Well,
DT,
wait.
Buck. Sorry.
Oh, right.
How
Buck,
long
where are
has it-
you?
You
can't
have to
move 'cause
me
he's
a bit.
making-
I'm outside.
Okay.
Did I hear tachos?
How long
He's
has it
making
been
tachos.
since we
Fuck yes. Word
since
of
we decided to
tachos.
go to the church?
It's probably been an hour or so.
Okay, so I am back to my normal form.
Okay.
Or do you want to re-up
I
before we
can't.
go into the inn?
I get one
oh, it's
cast.
a slot thing? Or is it a...
It's Fearbolg magic.
Fearbolg
I get
magic.
one cast for 1 hour per long rest. So no more looking like regular ass person. Back
You could
to
turn
8
into a
feet
spider,
tall.
though, I guess.
What?
Turn into a spider if you
I could, but
Can we canonically have her just yell out spider when she turns into a spider? Kind of like,
Spider.
bat?
Yes.
just
Can,
spider.
can we
Oh,
make
God,
her
we-
have to sing the Spider-Man song to do it? Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
So what we
Dean,
do
are
in
you
the
caught
shadows
up on
tonight-
Start becoming Spider-Man.
What we do in the shadows?
I'm
And a
caught up,
couple of
yeah.
New, oh, God. We
so
just,
good.
just remembered there were 2 new ones that, since the last time we watched
We're
them.
one behind.
Watched them yesterday. And it's like, yes. Shit's so
Where
fucking
are
good.
you?
The season
He's about
is
5
Cool.
squares back from the steps.
No. I'm looking at. Okay, so Buck. So everybody sees this brightly dressed elf bard, but Buck sees a older human, wearing more, I guess, plain clothing, like more muted clothes. He has white hair and is wearing glasses. He's just an older gentleman. Looks like he's seen
Disguised
some.
as an
Looks
old boy.
looks like he's seen some stuff, but everybody else sees a very colorful bard.
And I point down to Buck. I'm like, ooh, I heard about this in church. That's the man with the wagon. What was it? The mystical magic show? Let's go see.
Yes, let's take a look at him and his show.
There
Nice.
seems
so
to be
follow-
another
follow
nondescript
DT,
character
man.
near him. Or another unusual character near him who doesn't look like the rest.
So this is a kid. This is
Ugh.
a kid. And then you have the bar. A
Bard.
woman is tending bar. And then the bard's up here.
Hey, girl, hey.
But
But
just kinda like-
the chair right here. At him.
Okay.
Assuming nobody's like weirded out by me being here, I'll just try to post up somewhere where I can see.
Everybody
I
is
guess-
as weirded out as they've normally been. They just kind of give you an eye, but in this town, everybody's a lot more friendly than Barovia, so they just kind of shrug it off.
And I give everyone a little wave, just I'm not threatening or just weird.
So you take a seat at the bar,
or just lean, probably.
So I assume Ivy's at the bar.
I am sitting at the bar. I've gotten comfortable on a nice bar stool, and I will ask the bartender what's on tap.
Like most places here, we have wine, although we haven't had our delivery in quite some time, so what we have is not as good as it could be.
DT turns around. Yeah, where do you guys get wine? I haven't seen a vineyard around here.
Oh, we have a vineyard. It's called it's further west. It's called the Wizard of Wines.
Wow.
Okay, but we haven't had a delivery in some time, so I'm a little bit concerned.
Hey, so the wizard there, where does his vineyard?
Oh, is it an actual wizard or just a name? That's just the name. She marks it on the map. Let me see if I can mark it for you guys. If I can remember where it is. I'll call it New Text 2.
Is it
the New Text Vineyard?
Is it far enough west to be Wizards of the Wines of the Coast?
It's very far.
Okay. That's a really long walk for a Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah. Nope, I know. I'm just ignoring it.
Thank you. I'll stop calling attention to it.
Very well. If the wine is old, I expect it comes at a discount. How much for a pitcher?
Yeah, nobody likes old wine.
she looks at DT and just points at DT and then looks back at you and just stares. She says, "No discount for old wine, but we don't charge much for the less than ideal wine." It's
very well.
So we offer a pint of grape mash for 3 copper and a pint of Red Dragon Crush for 1 silver.
Very well. I don't normally drink wine, but I'll have a pint of the Red Dragon Crush for 1 silver.
Okay.
Starts is watching this weird game again, just very perplexed at this whole commerce action.
And I decided I'll come up to the bar and be like, let's make that 4 red dragons for us. And how many people are in the bar here that I can see? Like 5, 6, 7, 8.
We'll call them even 10.
10 plus the bard.
10 plus the bard. I'll just buy 1 for the bard.
Yeah. No need to be that generous.
Are you bringing it to him, I assume?
Yeah, I'll buy an extra one and I'll be like, and I'll take 1 for the entertainer.
All right.
I see Starts looking confused about money and ask if she wants an explanation of what we're doing.
So the bard is kind of walking around telling outrageous stories to the groups. He's claiming to be a carnival ringmaster from a distant land. And he just basically keeps telling stories. And
if I overhear that, I was gonna say, walk up behind him and be like, "Excuse me, I'm from a distant land."
That's how I was gonna approach it too. Be like, so as soon as he says distant land, comes by where DT and kind of Buck are sitting, I'll pass him the wine and be like, "We're from a distant land too. Grab a seat, let's chat." We don't know the same land.
He sits down with you, and he grabs his wine and kind of cheers you and kind of gulps it down. Says, "Friends, where are you from?"
I wouldn't even know how to describe it on a map, but it's very, very far away. Most recently we've been traveling from Baldur's Gate to Waterdeep. Now we found ourselves here in Bavaria. How about you, friend? How come you here?
He says, "I know of Baldur's Gate and Waterdeep. I've traveled all over Faerun with my carnival.
Interesting. And what
Was that your wagon
what brings
that
you
we saw coming here?
here? Yeah.
Yes, that's my wagon. I would stay away from it, friend.
Why? What's in
Oh.
it? Secrets?
It's filled with my personal belongings, and I don't want to risk someone getting into them.
Oh. Yeah, no, we're not thieves. We're like the opposite of thieves. We're here to help people.
We're Veets.
You're what?
Veets.
Like thieves backwards.
Oh,
Thieves.
Jesus
We're Veets.
Christ.
He thinks he's funny.
He says, and I quote, well, not Jesus Christ, because that wouldn't make any sense. But he puts his hand, he just face palms.
We definitely don't steal things from people. But you mentioned you were a ringmaster. Are there other people in your circus?
Oh,
There
there used to be, but they didn't come with me to Barovia. It's just me and, well, it was just me and my monkey, but I gave him away because they didn't welcome here. They didn't want him in the inn.
Oh, so you just gave your companion away?
Oh yeah,
That.
There's a local toy maker, and he seemed to take to him.
Starts is horrified by the notion of giving away a companion, just like absolutely cannot, and just leaves and goes back over to the bar.
Oh, but wait till I tell you what a toy maker is.
Do you go with her?
That's not even worth it. She's just like,
no, because she doesn't
yuck.
actually listen. I'm constantly trying to explain things, and she's just like, ugh. And then we play Dungeons and Dragons. Zing.
So he sees your disgust, and he's like, "Oh, I visit him all the time. He just can't stay here with me."
Oh, how long have you been in town?
Oh, about a month.
That's quite a long time for a traveling circus, I would think.
Once I'm done here, I'll move on. But there's many people to bring joy to in this town.
You must have a lot of tricks.
I try.
Can you show us some?
Start noticing that Buck's getting a little aggro. It's like,
He says, "I'm mostly a bard, and I go around and tell stories. I don't have any tricks on me. They would be in my my wagon."
Right, which we're definitely staying away from.
unless you want to take us there, I would love to see it. It's so bright. We saw it coming in. Like your clothes.
So you have seen it. So you don't need to see it.
Oh, I just imagine it has wondrous things inside. Doesn't it even say wondrous? Something like that on the outside? I really don't remember.
He notices you guys asking lots of questions and suggests that you join him upstairs in his room.
Ooh, I love joining strangers upstairs in their rooms.
He says,
I mean that too,
he
but
says,
not sarcastic.
he looks at Buck very closely and gets way more serious than he has been, and he just suggests that we should probably talk. And suggests you come up to his room.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. And I kind of drop like the weird, goofy act I've been sort of having, and yeah, that's a good idea. DT, you want to come upstairs with us?
We've been talking.
DT, I think we need to go upstairs.
Oh, okay. Like we need to talk.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could wink necessarily because he sort of has like gleaming metal eyes in the picture.
You easily can solve that just by simply saying wink.
Yeah, I think I would say wink and like cover one eye like with my hand for a second. The most obvious thing.
Okay, so are you guys joining him in his room?
Yeah, I am.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you guys see
I
us going
will
upstairs? And...
follow skeptically. You know what? I'm gonna wait at the bar for a bit, and I'll come up last. You guys go ahead. So
I gotta
I'll take a look.
move you.
Suspicious. Damn it.
Doing the
Actually, That was weird.
The
stairs
teenager
took me all the way up.
stomping. Oh,
Okay, so who all goes up?
We're all going up, I think.
Okay.
yep. Starts comes last.
Oh, that's
doing
not you. That's a commoner.
Hey guys, what's going on? This B, right?
Hey, wrong
Oh, sorry. Oh.
Well, it's Jeff.
All right, I'm just gonna have to pile people on the top. Okay, so so as you're in this room, and he looks at Buck and he says,
With all of us in here, 8-foot tall Firbolg and
Yeah.
a giant robot.
he says, "Sorry, it's a little cramped, but this is the only private room they had." And he looks at Buck and he says, "You can see me, can't you?" And he takes his hat off. As he takes his hat off, you see. This is not telling me anything about what he looks like. So you see a older human with graying, receding hair, glasses. He's wearing. Sorry, I can't drag and drop his image. I don't.
You see George R.R. Martin.
Let me see if I can, because I have his.
You see Richard Dreyfuss.
See
Rod
my high school
Stewart.
English teacher, Mr. Mather.
See if I can show you this. Nope, stop.
Marshall Mathers?
Yeah. I
Mitt
mean, it
Romney.
won't me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Mitt Romney is a great square white guy pull. Just, hi, I'm Mitt Romney, human man.
Human man. Here, this is what he looks like. There you go.
I like it. Oh, hey, that was
Wow.
originally the Baton Z. Gross character art
Amazing.
that I had from the other game. It's
Uh,
built into D&D Beyond.
And he says, "I would appreciate it if you didn't let anyone know that I am in disguise. I am trying to
I
avoid
get it.
he says, I'm trying to avoid the watchful eye of certain people."
Well, there's
I get
only
it.
one
and it
person.
probably saves a lot on the wardrobe.
Starts kind of leans over and kind of is reaching for the hat. Not
He
aggressively?
immediately puts the hat back on after he shows you his like true self.
The face comes back.
Ugh. So, most people in this town seem to be on the wrong side of one very specific person. Would that happen to be you as well? Lives in the big house up the road.
He looks at you and says, that depends. And he says that depends. How do you feel about the big man up the road?
Does anyone like Strahd around here? Honest question.
He says, people like Strahd around here. And he's just
Yeah.
dead serious when he says it.
Just
He-
staring then. Like, okay, this is
He
getting dicey.
he leans back and he says, "Clearly you're adventurers. Clearly you're not from around here. But
Yes.
can I trust you?"
I would honestly say at this point we have little grievance with Strahd or anyone in the area. We found ourselves here against our will. We've tried generally to be helpful and have made no enemies that I know of. So as far as trustworthiness, that's all we've got.
Starts, taps her nose, and nods.
You can tell us a secret, we don't know anyone else. Would we tell about what?
Well, you might tell Strahd about me, and I can't have that.
We have met him once, he did not seem to care for us much. Unfortunately, he seemed to know about us, though, and that unnerved me.
He says, Strahd knows about pretty much everything.
But how does he not know about you then?
He knows about me, he just doesn't know where I am.
Oh. Well,
Does he have reason not to like you?
He pulls his hat off real quick and kind of bows and he says, "My name is Rudolph von Richten. I'm a vampire hunter."
well, geez, I feel like that could have cleared things up very early. But I understand why you might not want to go spreading that around. This seems like a bad town for a vampire hunter.
He explains that he was originally from a land called Darkon, He married his childhood sweetheart, and they had a son together named Erasmus. When Erasmus was 14, he was stolen away by the Vistani and sold to a vampire named Baron Mestus to be used as a companion. By the time Van Richten found his son, it was too late. He had already transformed Erasmus into a vampire. Erasmus begged him to end his suffering, which Van Richten did by pounding a wooden stake through his son's chest. Baron Metis avenged the deed by killing Richten's wife, and Richten went after Baron Mestus, destroyed him, and has been seeking revenge against the Vistani since then.
Do the Vistani regularly kidnap and sell people?
He says the Vistani are the only people who can come and go as they please in Barovia.
We saw.
Hey, do you know the lady who has the pie?
Yeah.
He looks at you and he says, I don't know what you're talking about.
Old lady lives in a windmill, steals children. You don't pay her for their pie.
That's the first I've heard of it.
She makes this kind of pie.
We explain, baby.
And he's just kind of horrified by your story, but also has nothing to add.
Well, his story was horrifying. That's
Starts
like
kind of
around the room while we're all like, "Oh my god!"
Starts kind of leans over,
stake in the son's chest.
He
leans over and kind of points out, "There's a man with your story in Barovia at the church. Another dad,
or a similar story, right?"
No, that's the way she phrases it. Your story.
Yeah. That's right. We did encounter another stolen child. What was it exactly?
Another father whose son had been turned into a vampire.
Oh, that's right. The church, and he was under the church.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But all you say is the similar story, and he just kind of looks at you and says, or the same story, and he's like, "What do you mean?"
His son.
Are you saying there's someone whose son was turned vampire in Barovia?
Yes.
Do you know how that happened?
Starts just kind of shrugs and just the hand, like one hand just goes higher and higher in the air until she bumps the ceiling and then brings it back down just a touch. Kind of the awkward, that one hand shrug emoji. Like, what do you think?
The biggest shrug.
It was a vampire.
No, he digs a little further. It's like, right? No, I understand how someone gets turned into a vampire. I was asking what led to that happening.
We don't know.
Yeah,
the man we met in the church, the pastor, told us.
Yeah.
But I don't remember how the son became enthralled or whatever.
So the son went to fight. He was one of the group that went to fight with the wizard.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
He was just turned.
Yeah,
were many of them turned, or was it a unique punishment for him? I don't remember if that was it.
So far he's the only one that you know was turned, and then you know that the wizard was chucked off of a cliff, basically.
One was turned into the river, unfound. Maybe.
And a lot of people ran away.
Yeah.
So
we may encounter people who were there that night.
So
or did Strahd go kill him?
So he says, "Oh, right, the wizard's attack. It was folly to take him head on like that."
It sounds like you may know this, but we've been trying to figure out how many attempts have there been on Strahd. We saw the parade of adventurers, but surely they can't have all just run up with swords. There must have been plans and attacks and counterattacks and leaders springing up. Why has no one taken him down?
There's been many attacks. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm traveling to gather information.
Cool. So there is an underground? A resistance?
Well, there's me.
He
He says, well, there's me, and there was the wizard. I don't know how many others there are. I used to have a protege, but she did not come with me. I could definitely use her help now.
How far are you from home? Wherever your protege is.
He says, very far.
Did you enter Barovia willingly?
Yes, I came to kill Strahd. I followed the Vistani here.
The Vistani can go, though?
Yes. They seem to be the only ones who can.
Starts, shrugs, and is just like, there's the answer, let's go.
We'll try to ride out with Vistani. I don't think it would be a great idea to admit we've met them to this dude who seems to have a blood vengeance.
Just kind of an ambivalent shrug and a there's an answer, and just kind of...
Okay. Now, I guess all the treasure in this land is probably Strahd's.
He says there's treasure throughout the land, but all of it, danger leads that way. He talks about how he studied Strahd for years and knows that he can't best the vampire in a straight up confrontation, and that he must wait for the right moment to strike. He lets you know that Strahd periodically hibernates in his coffin, sometimes for years when all is quiet. He explains that he's in town trying to learn more about the Keepers of the Feather, which is a society of were-ravens that oppose Strahd. But he's doing it while trying not to expose them to their mutual enemy. He thinks they might prove helpful when the time comes.
We met a cool raven.
And
he seems smarter than usual.
What do you know about an old windmill just outside of Villaki?
And he says, old bone grinder? Not much, just most people say don't go there. I haven't heard much to do with Strahd about the windmill, so I haven't made it to there myself.
New data point. It's called Old Bone Grinder. I say that one goes in the let's not go column.
He mentions that he's trying to also take out as many of Strahd's spies as he can, starting with the evil Vistani. And he mentions that not all Vistani serve Strahd, which makes it more difficult.
Then why not go after a more clear target?
And he looks at you and he says, Strahd, I just explained I'm not ready to go after Strahd. I'm also getting old.
No, not Strahd. I'm sure there are others that you know that are working for him or spying for him besides the Vistani.
Who is Tatiana?
He says, Tatiana was... Does he actually know this? Hold on. Give me a second. He says Tatiana was someone involved with Strahd long ago before he became a vampire. At least that's what the legends say. I don't know much more than that.
Do you know why he seems to periodically become infatuated with, I assume, local women? We've heard a few murmurs about it, and we met the burgomaster of Barovia's daughter, who was also the subject of his affections.
He says, I'm not sure.
It just happens.
It just continues to happen. There's legend of a journal of Strahd's, but I have not been able to find it yet.
Probably in his castle, one would assume. And I feel like that's up there with Old Bone Grinder on the do not visit list.
So we need to go find his live journal.
His live journal. That's it. More of a dead journal. He's there.
That's true. We need to go find his live journal with bad poetry about girls.
You gotta go find his death note.
Oh,
Dear
God.
diary,
Right.
I wish the burgomaster would die. That's how Death Note works, I assume.
It's actually just like a Mean Girl slam book. Oh my god, you guys.
Oh,
I can't
God.
believe
What-
that Villaki is so mean to me.
What have
Gretchen
you
Wieners made
heard?
out with a hot dog. I think that was Gretchen Wieners. I don't remember who.
Yes,
In mean Girls, somebody made out with a dog was in the burn book, and I remember being very amused.
What have you heard about this journal?
It's in addition to trying to find out more about the were-ravens, I've just been trying to hunt it down. I haven't been able to find it yet.
Any other Strahd tidbits we should know about before venturing forth?
I would not go up against him unless you're prepared.
Would you have happened to heard a rumor about a sword of sunlight?
That's the first I'm hearing about that.
What about a wizard's tower?
Do you know where sailors hang out?
He
Sorry.
we'll just do this every time. What can
Just
you tell me
every-
about the four voodoo?
Just all the questions in a row.
Would you like
I'm
to
like,
play a
this-
game of Lucky Hit?
This must be what the NPCs feel like, though. You know, in that we're just like, hey, this question, then this question, then this question, then this question.
When you ask about a wizard's tower, he kind of looks at you a little taken back.
When I say by a lake,
He looks even more taken back.
point a finger.
He
We were given some cryptic advice.
he says, "I've been staying in a wizard's tower overlooking a lake."
Hmm.
We're not saying the V word.
Also, you're on mute. So I didn't really hear what you said either.
Hammer. What do we need to be prepared to fight Strahd?
That's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find allies. I'm trying to find information.
Well,
Yeah,
if
so
our
how long have
cryptic
you been living in
advice.
that tower?
Yeah.
What?
Like you've got that pretty you've got that really neat wagon. So I'm just wondering why you're staying in a tower when you've got the cool wagon.
Because I need a place to call home and keep my things. I don't want to. I need some place to go back to once I find information.
Nobody wants to live in a wagon. I guess maybe Buck wants to live in a wagon.
It's a nice wagon.
Oh yeah, you probably had like a tinker's wagon that we got lost when we went to a different dimension. Oh, I'm sorry about your wagon, but we'll get you a new wagon when we stop getting warped to different places.
That's what you said every time we get more to a different place.
Maybe the next leap will be the leap home. That takes psychic too.
What about these ravens?
Yeah, what have you found out about the rape?
You're asking.
Other
Sorry,
than
I was reading something.
Yeah.
Starts was asking about the ravens. Tell me about the ravens, sure.
I don't completely know. I believe that this might be kind of their base of operations, at least in this town, but I'm not sure yet.
This building?
Yes.
Where's some
And,
ravens outside? But
yeah,
it seems like there's lots of them everywhere.
Yeah, he says there's lots of ravens, and they seem to be allies, or at least helpful, but just trying to find more information, but trying to keep a low profile while I do, because I don't want to expose anyone, and I don't want to expose myself.
Hey, do you know like how a lot of the people in the town go to the church every night? Like, do you know what that's about?
The church is hallowed ground. It's safe from Strahd.
Right.
Stars is
great.
making a face about that, like.
And he says, "What's wrong?"
Oh, it's not.
It's not really how.
Oh yeah,
how
Fearbolt
bad.
can't really lie. Like they don't really understand what that's about.
Yeah, I
And
physically
DT
am
may
not
even be
capable of
saying
lying. It's
So
not.
I love
Someone-
the idea that I'm trying to be like all cagey about like some information and stuff. And then,
is-
like, right behind me, like this 8-foot tall giant creature's like, so here's the truth.
Yeah. Actually, no. It's
yeah,
not.
it's
That's not
physically uncomfortable to lie, like break out in a cold sweat. It's
even just to
Wrecked.
like hold in the truth.
no to physically lie. It's like
Okay, but you know
physically
you can be
ill.
quiet.
No, I can't either.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Yes, it also hurts to hold in the truth.
Yes.
Like a blurt
Yeah.
is likely.
No, it's so yeah. It's not anymore.
He says, "What happened?"
Someone took their shit.
Someone stole the relics that were keeping it safe. Their saint's bones.
So the crypt keeper, gravedigger, claims to have
The monster truck.
he claims to have stolen the bones.
Sorry. Just Photoshop him into the title card.
He claims to have stolen the bones on the behest of the coffin maker who needed them for an unknown reason.
This is why
He says, "That sounds like something Strahd would have someone do."
We were worried that Strahd might be behind this.
it seems like Strahd's behind everything, if we're being honest.
He just nods his head to that comment.
He's kind of a dick.
Strahd just wants a girlfriend, and it really has nothing to do with any of us. I just want to go home.
Strahd's an incel.
He says to that statement, "It's like you can't leave unless Strahd wants you to leave."
That's what I was going to ask about. Do you know?
He says even
You know
the
more about the
souls of
strange-
he says the souls of people who die here can't leave.
Do you know? Are the strange properties of Barovia just 100% result of Strahd's occupation?
See, that's inconvenient because I was really hoping to go to an explosion when I died.
Go into an explosion or from an explosion?
Yes.
Yeah, that's likely.
What's the question again? I got completely distracted by that.
Exploding into another explosion. Do you know why that is, basically? Like, is it because of Strahd, or is it like something that existed before him? In your research, if you found out why no one can leave or why the souls can't leave?
He says, in my research, Barovia was just a normal place. Then something happened, and it seems to be around the same time that Strahd came to power. I mean, he's like, I mean, Strahd always had power, but not like this. And since then, the mists appeared, and no one's been able to leave.
So he was just a lord who one day
he says
became more of a powerful.
He said his
being?
family ruled this land for a time.
So they always had the castle. They were always up there on the hill. But then one day he comes in and says, "Everyone, bow down." What does he want from everyone?
He says, "I don't know what happened. I just that's all I know."
Yeah. But in general, you say he hibernates for years at a time. When he's awake, what does he want? What does he do?
He seems to like
Sexually harass Irina.
he seems to go after he seems to torment anyone and everyone in the area. And he says he looks at you and says the village of Barovia used to be like Villaki.
Yeah, we've seen the scratches. He just sends his minions out every night, or he goes out himself and destroys the town. I don't even...
It's whatever he wants. It's kind of his whim.
Yeah. I would have liked to understand his motivations, but it doesn't seem like he has any other than display his power. But maybe the Ravens know more.
He doesn't have anything to add.
Yeah. We're all very somber. He's a big bad dude. But I think, regardless of our fortune-telling overlap with your wizard's tower, I believe we could count you among our allies, and I want you to do the same.
He just kind of bows and he says, "I will help in any way I can, but I have to focus on what I'm doing right now. I have to focus on finding allies."
Yes, with your clown hat.
It's a good hat.
There's no malice in that statement. If that's what it takes to get information. But now that we're friends, what kind of cool things do you have in your wagon?
Just real quick. Also,
He looks at you and he just very, very clearly and matter of fact says, "It's a tiger. Don't go in it."
Don't go in the tiger, DT.
Don't go in the wagon.
Or you don't go in the wagon. There's a tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah. He makes it very clear that's why you should not go in the wagon. There is a tiger locked in it. Please.
First you go in the stockyard, then you go in the wagon, then you go in the tiger.
I don't want to see what a tiger looks like.
Yeah, what if you had snuck up and picked the lock and like slipped in?
They were going.
I'll take a peek around and come out and tell you guys. It just never goes out.
Have you ever set the tiger on Strahd? Do we know his resistance to tigers?
You could have start the fire, throw the tiger.
He looks at you very seriously and he says, "The tiger is not for Strahd. The tiger is for something else."
Does the tiger have a name?
Entertainment?
Are you fucking that tiger? How dare you, sir?
He looks
the tiger's
shocked.
Entertainment?
Oh my god, where's my... I have like 20 tabs open. Give me a second.
You have to find the one with the tiger name list.
Well, I thought he did have a name. That's why I'm...
Her name is Framboise.
His name is Carol now.
Berries.
Nope, we're not doing a Carol Baskin joke. Not gonna happen.
Too late.
Man, I thought
this cat found his way onto the keyboard, even though I'm in the living room.
I'm gonna name the tiger Garfield, and you're just gonna deal with it.
Hell
Nice. The hero we deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Acceptable.
Yep. The tiger's name is Garfield.
Nice. Hey, speaking of names, does that wizard that you were talking about earlier, did he have a name?
Yeah, the wizard who stormed the castle. Everyone just calls him the wizard.
He came from nowhere and just gathered up people and
did magic
and attacked the castle. I've never heard his name. He just kind of called himself the mage and wasn't any more open about who he was.
I see. And you're like living in his place right now, and you don't like leave like.
Oh no, the wizard's tower I live in. That's a different. That's not the same.
Okay.
The same wizard.
It's just an architectural style bug. The wizard's tower is very popular.
Does the
in
wizard
Barovia.
tower have a name to differentiate it from other said architectural styles?
If it has Spanish tile on it, it's a ranch house.
He says the tower I am staying in was originally owned by a wizard named Kazan.
Not Donald Jeffrey Herbert?
No, Kazan.
Okay. And
The
like,
wizard-
did he leave like a
Not
room
Shazam?
there,
Mr.
or
Wizard.
any kind of like servants behind?
He was long gone when I took over his tower.
Do you have anyone you would consider a servant?
A what? You cut out.
A servant.
He says no.
Starts just face palms. Just huge face palms.
Unless it's the tiger.
Tapping the nose again.
He says there's my I wouldn't call her my servant, but my protege Esmeralda, but she's not in Barovia.
Oh, never mind. It's just more of our weird cryptic nonsense that we got on the way to Villaki. I think we'll piece it together as we go.
He looks at you and goes, I can just tell you where my tower is.
Oh, not that. I just meant.
Okay.
Would you put it on this map? We mark new things with new text.
We'll call your house.
Sorry, I just realized what you said. That's why there was a delay there.
Put new text on this map where your house is.
You can be new
That's
text free.
Some good phrasing.
I mean, yeah, anyway. New Text is still the name of that other place, but the rest of them are sticking for some reason. All right. Okay.
So, should we get
Go
a
find
room
some
at this
birds.
inn?
Yes. Go find some birds. Yes.
Go find some birds. Yes. But for now, is it? It's evening, right? We went from church where it was gathering for the night. Came over here. It's
getting
bedtime.
on like 10 o'clock almost.
Okay. Let's rent another tiny room.
I
All
mean,
spread out.
there's a room for 4. If you want to rent that.
Hooray! Let's do you want to rent that room and then maybe call it there for the night?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's a good stopping point, and we will.
Okay, let's say you rent the room, and I'll just move you into it because it's right there.
And
There
then
you go.
even if now that we have the room and take a rest, at some point we could go out in the night and see if there are ravens or whatever. But
Or see what's inside that fucking wagon.
it's a tiger. We were told it was a tiger and not to touch it.
You know how
Where are you even gonna get lasagna around here to bribe it with?
I can conjure shit.
Conjure.
You know.
Conjure. I can conjure.
I'm gonna conjure some
It's,
lasagna.
Pretty sure that's not the word, but
Oh, it's the oh hello. Hey, why don't you conjure up us some lasagna? So we can do cocaine and eat
Oh,
lasagna.
look at her little room. Oh, it's so cute.
Cozy.
Before we go
Yeah.
to sleep, Starks is going to do a couple of casts of locate plants or animals. First, attempting to locate Raven.
ravens?
Good call.
Yeah.
Like you are just surrounded by ravens. Like there's the
Oh,
ones
okay.
outside. There's ones
Oh, okay.
like
there are
on
some
top of the.
outside. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. Then, last second, like right before like drifting off to sleep, I should check. Is there a tiger?
How far does it go?
Let me look.
Do you have to know what a tiger is?
It was within 5 miles.
Yeah, the town's only like a mile across. So yes, there is a tiger, and it's in the area where you were. Yes,
Bing.
there's
Tiger-
absolutely a tiger.
beacon goes up.
He wasn't lying.
Yep. Right before he's.
So
not
are you
lying.
guys
Tell
taking a
everybody.
long rest, or are you going to go out in the middle of the night? Or do we want to decide that when we come back?
I think we can decide when we come back. Personally, I haven't had a long rest and haven't used anything since,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure what
Starts your
needs
disguise,
to-
but that's about it. I think.
I have done a locate animals and a
Oh,
disguise
that's right.
self. I cannot do disguise self again until a longer rest.
Right, that's
Yeah.
what it was.
I think there's probably something to be said for like we go out at midnight and see if we can talk to ravens on the roof, and then we go to bed and sleep till morning. Like still get a long rest.
I mean,
that's
Goth
what
kids
we
on
can-
the roof talking to birds, totally my jam.
Yeah.
that's very much my jam.
And I like this too. It was a good all role play. I mean, some dice roll, but you know, it was a combat-free
session.
session, and still very good. So it's always nice to be reminded that you don't need to fight something every time. So the old D&D crew, I don't know if they would handle that as well.